Oh, I should close a couple of things real quick. Like Epic. Predominantly Epic. We should close Epic so I don't get any notifications or nonsense.
During the podcast.
I refuse.
Sean, I was like, why did you have to like make? I mean, I get you also ask every time you go to take my PR. It's like, do you think it's good? But like, I was like, why is he asking about my PR? And then I like remembered what's in my PR.
No, I always ask. No, Michael.
Yeah, I know you always just ask because of the way mine.
Michael,
the way I do mine.
Michael, things will make sense. I also just always ask because I would rather not have a moment where you're like, I actually think I want this above that. Like while we're live and the power rankings there. So I just I asked Mason too. I didn't ask John today because John sent me his. Like I clearly knew John's opinion wasn't gonna change over the span of an hour.
You don't know that.
Maybe.
I sure fucking hope not.
There's always a chance. I actually not even mentioned it, Sean.
No, I'd staying. Even if you tell me afterwards, I'm not changing anything. I have all the
Sean, I was
stats.
thinking how handsome you look today and how just. You know,
Oh, why? Thank you.
Anyway, you're not getting to change any.
I was thinking about it.
I don't know what you would want to move. Your power ranking seems pretty set to me.
That seems pretty average.
What? Week 4? Really? God, it feels.
It feels so much longer, but we're like halfway through.
That's because we haven't doubled up at all.
Hey, we're halfway through every show. We're at 6s.
Yeah. But we are not halfway through the amount of shows we have. Not yet.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
My brain's like, what was the other show that was 10? Because I remembered Shoshimin, and I was like, oh, it's Suicide Squad. Okay, it was one of the ones we voted off.
I picked two. I picked both of the ones that did that this season.
Happens sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure why there are only 10 episodes. Can't. Hey, it's gonna be a thing.
I mean, Suicide Squad makes sense because that's just Warner Brothers doing whatever the fuck they want. But
I mean, fair.
Shoshimin's the weird one.
No, Nokotan's the weird one.
Well, that's a different kind of weird. We're live, by the way.
Whoa.
No.
So why wouldn't we be? Yeah, I think that's pretty much. I think that's everything. I think we're good to go. Welcome everybody. We are live for week 4. We're talking about episode 6s, so there'll be spoilers for episode 6s of our shows. Do not spoil anything past that. In addition, there's going to be some harsh language that's going to exist.
Please don't spoil anything past that. He has my kids.
Things to talk about.
Chapters today, I haven't read them yet.
We don't. Oh yeah, Shiba Inu's really good this week. Dogs Red is.
Okay, Chibi Inu's been good for 8 weeks straight. I don't know.
Yeah, it's still really good. Dogs Red is Dogs Red is Dogs Red. It's actually it's a pretty normal Dogs Red chapter actually.
Which means it's absolutely bonkers because it's Dogs Red.
Okay.
Absolutely insane peak last week.
I'm like 6 chapters beyond on that.
Okay, it is a.
Catch up on that.
Let me rephrase that. It's a surprisingly normal Dogs Red chapter.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Once again, it's Dogs Red,
right?
We're setting up for actual conflict in the hockey. It looks like.
Dogs Red might be one of the most slow burn sports things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Diamond
I have
Oasis
yet to play a game.
Diamond Oasis is pretty slow.
We've watched like parts of games, maybe.
No, so
once.
Ace of the Diamond's slow because they play like 50 billion games. Dogs Red is 30 chapters in, and we've seen like half of a game, and it was through like a flashback, and it was like half of a chapter.
We've seen more figures.
This is an important event that happened.
We've seen more figure skating than we have ice hockey.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
We spent a good like 8 chapters doing conditioning training. Like dry land conditioning, it felt like.
Let me do my quick.
It's base. It's a good manga. It's just really slow.
Let me do
it's taking its time.
Let me do my quick weekly Shonen Jump run through. I think Psych House is ending in 2 weeks, if not sooner.
That's sad to hear.
I had a friend ask me. He said, "What do you think? Do you think anything's getting canceled soon out of the manga?" And I said, if you had to ask me based on where stories are right now, I would say Psych House. Because Psych House has a plot point that is the driving factor for why the main character with psychic abilities decides to live with the other characters with psychic abilities, and they are starting to address it right now. I don't know. So either, like, we figure out what's going on and they have no solution and the manga keeps going, or they solve this and I think the manga ends. Which, like, it's been a nice little thing. But I don't know. I could be wrong. I would love to be wrong. It's pretty okay manga. Necromance is ridiculous. I don't have where it's teed up for a brand new arc. I don't particularly like the ending of the last one we just got out of, which is like its first real arc. So like that's something about it. Kill Blue's setting up still. Kill Blue's in setup mode. Hematen. The fuck happened in Hematen this week?
Friend
Cute.
appeared.
Cute. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah.
When the chapter came out. Yeah, good Hematen stuff.
It's good. It's Hematen. It's Hematen.
Ultimate Exorcist does a really funny this week where it explains the power ranking system in its world, and it explains why the main character doesn't abide by that power ranking system. And what I mean by that is they go, a character is this level of Exorcist based on what level of devil / demon they can defeat. To which the guy explaining it goes, except for the main character, because he can defeat demon lords, but they just haven't given him the title of people who can defeat demon lords, because he needs other things still, probably. So he basically explains, if you are strong enough to defeat a demon lord, you get this title, except for him because we said so, I think. It's weird. It's a little silly.
He hasn't learned how to do these other things yet.
He's not affiliated, is what it seems. He hasn't reached the affiliate rank of Exorcist. Kagurabachi is just going straight into its next arc. It kind of feels insane. We got some based One Piece moments.
One Piece good. Egghead coming to a close.
And then I talk about this. I've talked about this immensely. Spoilers for the newest JJK chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been waiting for 2 years. I've been waiting patiently for 2 years, hopeful for 2 years. I've had numerous people tell me that I am wrong, that I am delusional. I've had numerous people tell me that the author said this couldn't happen because he had hard confirmed things in interviews. And to those people I said, why the fuck would you listen to an author who's trying to end his manga about anything? He doesn't want you to know what's going on. You're not his friend. He doesn't trust you. He wants to surprise you with cool things. On other notes, JJK's leaks are a problem, and we need to go back to people just reading manga weekly. You just need to go back to people not talking about leaks, just ignoring them, or if they read them, just keeping it to themselves for 4 fucking days. That's all I ask. Including you, random Google-generated articles from dumb, just clickbait journalism sites. Get off my news feed on my phone. I don't want to see you. How dare you ruin this for me? JJK based. I have very strong feelings about this manga, especially its end portion. That given the history of this manga with this podcast, we might just talk about in like its own thing for content. Because this, if those don't know, JJK started on this podcast, like as a show for a season, and it won. It tied. It's a technicality. Funny.
Which is crazy.
I still stand by that. I think that was right. Given the first 12 episodes of JJK, I think that's fine. Like I don't.
No, it's just crazy that the show was.
Yeah.
I think the first year I was on the podcast.
Yeah, it existed as a manga. I think for 2 years prior, if not a little more. I want to say it started 2018.
It's something like that.
Could be off by that a bit.
Again, it was still crazy to like realize that My Hero Academia started in 2014.
Yeah. But yeah,
that was like when I got into anime.
We're in an interesting spot with the magazine because My Hero's done, JJK ends at the end of September. We haven't had anything replace My Hero yet, so like there's gonna be 2 big open slots. If you didn't know, Shonen Jump's doing a battle manga competition that's gonna applicants close for it in January. and then they're gonna announce a winner in March. And that basically guarantees that the top 3 placers for that are gonna get serialized in some capacity in the magazine, which means they're gonna be giving us 3 new battle shonens. That's being judged by author of Bleach, author of Black Clover, author of My Hero, and author of JJK. Which maybe by the time we get there, they're all done. There's a chance that Black Clover also ends by then. Maybe. Depends when if he.
also getting really close.
Yep. Undead Unluck's in its final arc. Mission Family Yozakura's in its final arc, is my understanding. My favorite thing was seeing a tweet about that where it said, a tweet that gave an update about the manga where it said, it is looking to speed up its final arc again. And I went, what's going on over there, Mission Family? What have you been doing for a while? I'd like to say One Piece is close to ending, but we probably still got another 2 years in that tank, if not more. You never know.
3 or 4, honestly.
It depends how long we're in Elbath for. I assume we're in Elbath till, like, March of next year, if not longer.
Yeah. We're probably going to be there a while.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of... I don't know the status of any of the other, like, decently long-running manga. Like, I don't know. I assume Roboco's never going to end. By the nature of what it is. I got no idea where Witch Watch is in relation to its story. Same with Akana Banashi. I imagine that's going for a while. Still, it's only at 125. That's not that long. Or 123. Elusive's getting a pretty high count, but I can't imagine that's close to ending yet either. I imagine that'll push into 200s. Same with Sakamoto Days, I would assume, but again, I don't know. Outside of that, I've played Fortnite. I did a run of Gunfire.
Fortnite.
We actually cleared that run of Gunfire. I finished my run of Flawless Platinum. I think I briefly mentioned the last podcast about that. I think I'm going to torture myself and try to play Renegade Platinum.
Let's go!
Oh boy.
It's not that bad.
And see how that... Yeah, that's coming from you, mister.
It's not that bad.
Yeah, you're better at this game than me.
I just played it more.
You're better at this game than me. Outside of that, I've read and finished 4 entire mangas this week.
Fair.
So
We're on the shorter end for mangas, but like still,
they're
it's
all
4
none of them I think were longer than like 55 chapters. So I read Romantic Killer. I like the main character of Romantic Killer a lot. She is great. I don't dislike any of the male love interests in Romantic Killer. I despise the plot of that manga immensely. I really hate the premise of Romantic Killer. I hate a lot of what the premise sets up in the story and what it does to its characters and how most of that is largely not really addressed. And, like, clearly, because of how she reacts to things that happen to her and the people around her, you're not supposed to view the plot of the manga, which is she is being forced to fall in love with someone while things that are precious to her are held hostage over her head until she does. And then they just shove hot guys at her until it works. That's the premise of Romantic Killer. You might be wondering why it's called Romantic Killer. Get to the end of the manga. Like, they clearly... Like, she clearly does not like the setup she is in. So, like, in that regard, the manga is not saying that this is a good thing. But, like, I feel like it does not focus on some elements of her character that, like, the manga is trying to point out to her that, like, oh, you're too addicted to video games and chocolates and your cat and being a loner, that you aren't having meaningful relationships. That bitch got other problems. She's in high school, and I don't know a goddamn thing about what she's gonna do afterwards. She's got no important details about life plans at all in that manga, and that's crazy. That should probably be the bigger focus. There's some stuff about some of the supporting cast characters. I don't really like the directions they take them from where they start. Probably the main male love interest. His story is incredible. It is the reason to read that manga. Absolutely. It's also the end arc of the manga. Really good. That part of it. overall, I would recommend reading it, but Michael knows this because he tried at one point reading it. It's it's odd. There are some things you have to get past. One being the plot of the manga, two being the character who introduces the plot of the manga, and three, just kind of the way the manga flows from chapter to chapter is very abrupt. Like, some of the chapters just end, and then you just pick up on the next chapter without, like, a clear... Like, you're like, oh, we're just here. Oh, that's the end of the chapter. Neat, I guess. Moving on.
Yeah, Sean showed me some of these. There's just, like, no conclusions in some of these chapters. It's crazy.
Yeah. Outside of Romantic Killer, I then read... I'm trying to think of the order I did this. Because there is one in my brain I'm forgetting. What was the other one I read? Because I read Blue Flag, and I read Cross Manage. What? How the fuck is it?
I think it's Cross Manage.
No, because it's not the whole word. Oh, it is Manage. You're right. Why am I don't know. What else did I fucking read? Hold on real quick. Because I'm going to talk about Blue Flag and Cross Manage together. I just have to remember the other one. I'll find it real quick. There aren't that many things to read on Shonen on the app. I'm running out.
It do be like that.
It was definitely 4. I know I'm not insane.
Let me see if I recognize it. Read it, looking through the list.
I started reading Pretty Face, but that's not the one because I didn't finish that. It feels insane that I can't think of what this was. Am I just wrong? Oh, I caught him. Was it that I caught him on Beat Emotion? Was that what it was?
That may have been it. That you're thinking it was Beat in Motion.
I feel like that's gotta be it. But my brain's telling me I did that last week, but I guess that's fair. So I caught up on Beat in Motion. Beat in Motion's very good. It's ongoing. That's great. Michael's talked a little bit about Beat in Motion before. I won't say too much about that because it's still ongoing. And then, like I said, I read Blue Flag and I read Cross Manage, and these are by the same author. Blue Flag's really good. I really like Blue Flag a lot. The plot of Blue Flag is that there is a guy who has no real friends and no real love interest, and the difference is that he does have friends. We just ignore them because they're not important. And it sets
plot relevant.
Yeah, and until they give really good advice later in the manga, because this manga is really good at making side characters become really important in like the second half. It gives a lot of room to its supporting cast and lets them grow. But the premise of Blue Flag is you have the main character. A girl approaches him and is like, I like the really popular guy who's your childhood best friend who's on the baseball team. We love rom-com tropes. This is in Romantic Killer too, that character trope. And so she's like, can you help me get closer to him? And he's like, he's not really my friend, I just know him. Like, him and I don't talk. He comes and talks to me. I don't hang out with him. Like, you don't understand. Like, this isn't worth your time. You're absolutely not his type. Like, I know this because he's told me what his type is. And she's like, but what if I don't want to give up? And he's like, well, you're a little cute, so I guess I'll help you. Meanwhile...
Is she a blonde girl with a big butt?
No. She's short and looks like she's short, and they constantly say that she looks like a hamster. It's adorable. No, that multiple characters do that. They're like, she's kind of like a hamster. And at one point they're like, at one point one of the characters is like, you've evolved from a hamster. You're almost a chinchilla. Not quite. That's a little too big. Base. So his best friend is actually gay for him. And so this complicates things. But the other element is that there's a fourth character in this dynamic, and it's the best friend of the girl, and she is gay for her. So you have two characters who are gay and in the closet and refuse to tell their best friend so. Meanwhile, the other two, who they are gay for, have a love triangle going on that then gets complicated as the manga continues onward.
So wait, So the guy on the baseball team that the girl's trying to get with is gay for the guy that she's trying
the main
to
character,
help get with him, who actually likes her.
At the start of the story, the main character has no love interest. That changes over the course of the story, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah, the main female lead, her best friend is gay for her. And they do lots of things with these characters. There are lots of conversations that happen about coming out, that happen about comfortability with people of different sexualities. There is a scene where one of the characters does deliver a line that I think is "hoof," which is one of the other male supporting characters delivers the lines of, "I got mad when I found out this character was gay because I was sexually assaulted by a man as a child." And he certainly does just throw that out there into the ether. And the way they discuss that, I do not think is bad, but it certainly does just feel like, wow, we're here all of a sudden. We sure did throw.
Gonna drop that bombshell.
Yeah, we sure did throw this. I sent a panel to Mason and Michael. In chapter 12, some crazy shit happens in this manga. Sorry, I have to scroll through all the Palico photos.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what you sent.
That's a good. We can see it afterwards too.
Here you go, John. This panel happens in chapter 12. Don't worry about it. I recommend reading this manga. I think Blue Flag's really great. If you are looking for a very complex and like super in-depth story about like characters who are gay and coming to terms with that, this maybe does not go far enough all the time with it because it is in Shonen Jump. It is not, it is not published out of the it is still geared for a shonen audience. So like temper expectations, but I really like it. And then I read Cross Managed. I'm gonna talk about Cross Managed real quick. Cross Managed is about a guy who played soccer, got injured, and can't play soccer, and then gets recruited by a girl to be the manager of the girls' lacrosse team. They're dog shit. The girls' lacrosse team. He somehow turns him into a semi-competent team. This is maybe a sports manga that is much more focused on the romance element of it than it is on the actual sports element, because they get to a point where they can kind of compete with, like, the 6-year running champions of the league. Kind of compete with them. Kind of, loosely. Which is maybe a little unbelievable. The characters in this are pretty good. I like the general story of it. I thought it was really cute. There's a panel in that manga where the guy mentions where someone, a girl just starts bombarding him with questions because that's the only way she knows how to communicate. She goes, "What music do you listen to?" And he goes, "Bump of Chicken and One OK Rock." And I go, "I've been attacked." This is a direct assault on me. But yeah, those are very good. Like I said, I'm running out of manga.
Impersonation is a crime.
Nah, so you're not running out of manga. You're just too scared to start some of the longer things.
Well, yeah, that is the problem. Like, I could go read Bakuman.
One Piece, Sean. Come on.
Yeah. Or you're reading Bakuman for the 13th time.
I could go.
Or reading Dr. Stone.
I could go.
Or reading
Bakuman,
Black Clover
Dr.
again.
Stone, Mashal.
Read Black Clover
I could
again.
start
If
Bleach.
you want a quick
I
one that
could
you can
read
burn
My
through,
Hero.
Mashal's definitely a quick one you can burn through.
I think I actually might go to Mashal next, simply because I need to be able to talk about Mashal in context to Black Clover and context to Wistoria. Like I want to be able to look at all three of those and go, are the direct comparisons between them actually apt because they have a slightly similar premise? To which I think the answer is no. I think the answer is no.
God, no.
Because, like, I want to express that, like, the concept of person does not have magic in magic world is just a hyperfixation of the general shonen trope. Because Naruto's whole thing in Naruto is that he cannot fucking use ninjutsu for his fucking life at the start of the story.
He's good at literally one of them. And then becomes good at a second one.
He has a lot of chakra.
3 of them.
Yeah.
3 of them.
He has a lot of chakra, so he's good at that element, but he can't fucking use it at all.
Oh god, he is good at 3. He is good at the specific transformation jutsu. Specifically Super Saiyan jutsu.
And he indeed wants to strive to be the best at something. Crazy shonen trope. crazy shonen trope that exists everywhere with slightly different flavors. But yeah, so I might get into Mashal.
It's almost like not having magic is not a unique thing to those three. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy that the Toadu series did that like 20 years ago.
It's also like they all
whenever
do.
That initially
it's
came
also
out.
like they all do different things with it.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, Asta's about as jacked as Mash is and Mashal. He might be more jacked, honestly. That's maybe not right away.
But Asta's not given the same kind of bullshit stuff that Mash is able to do.
It depends who you ask. I had a conversation with someone who thinks that Asta gets handed everything, which I think is a wild take.
I mean, you haven't seen some of the funny things Mash does, like take a metal rod and bend it into a tennis racket. 10 out of 10 moment right there.
Very good.
He does do that.
But what have you guys been up to?
His wand is a fucking metal rod.
I worked most of the week, and then I went shopping, and that's about it. I like being an adult. It's fun. I got a little further in my run-and-bun attempt. I got to Watson again. I have not actually fought it yet, so I haven't cooked it, and probably won't cook it until work this week. But we're at Watson. I don't know how I'm going to beat Watson. Right now I have a start that uses 3 of my slots to kill 2 Pokemon because Watson has a Zero Aura.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Well, yeah, Roxanne has a Zygarde.
Watson has a Zero Aura, and unless I use a rare candy, I don't even get Infernape yet, which I'm going to be doing because I'm using a candy and not 1 but 2 scales that I have to use because I have to use a second skill to get Fake Out so that I don't just immediately die to the Magnezone that can just boom on turn 1.
I'm sure you will be fine. You'll get through it, and you'll have enough resources to get all the way through Mount Pyre.
What's crazy, dude, Mount Pyre's so fucking far away. That's so far away. Stop, Sean. That's like literally like.
Well, yeah, but if you don't get through that Mount Pyre tag battle, you don't get to play the rest of the game.
Sean, Mount Pyre isn't even the hardest part about this early game.
Oh, I know. Well, I wouldn't really say Mount Pyre's early game. It's probably the transition into mid and/or start of late, maybe.
But yeah, I signed up for Louisville Regionals today. That's gonna be in October. For playing Reg H, which is pretty fun. I've been playing a little bit of like Dundozo Hyper Offense just to get into the format, and wow, Dundozo's really fucking easy and stupid when there's way less damage and answers to it. Really, I don't know what Dundozo is. He's a big whale Pokemon that's designed to eat another Pokemon when they're on the same field and double all of his stats. And then he just kind of kills things, and then when he dies, he spits out the other Pokemon. So you just fight like a 2v1 for a bit, and either you win the game or you get to play the rest of the game afterwards. And there's not much they can do about it. But yeah, it's been fun. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, Pokemon's fun. You should play it. It's a good time. Go to regional. It's good. It's good.
I don't mean to interrupt. I went to go get something so that John could see it, and then I got shot. I got shot dead. Because...
Go
ahead, John.
No, you first.
Well, I was gonna say, the cover for Volume 3 of Green Green Greens is out. It makes me sad.
Oh no, she cried.
It makes me sad.
But, yeah, like I said before, though, I'm caught up with Oshinoko. I finished My Hero, which is good. JJK's chapter was really good. Not much else is out right now, though. I haven't seen a chapter for Spy Family in a minute, so we shall see what's going on with that. But the recent Spy Fam chapter that I caught up with, really fucking good. Really, really fucking good. Doesn't focus on any of the characters you'd expect it to, but it was really fucking good. Highly recommend.
That is the character popularity poll for
It's
JJK.
still fucking...
Still
It bewilders me every time I see Naoya anywhere higher than last place.
Yeah, that's the most recent one. Kind of
Like,
insane.
it's legitimately crazy how he has a single person voting for him.
I don't mean to bring this back to me real quick. I forgot, I also watched a show this week. 2 of them. I finished Nagatoro Season 2.
You did do that.
Very good. I enjoyed it. I had a great time. They're adorable at this point in the show. And then I watched 6 episodes of Dahlia in Bloom. I want to make sure I got that right.
That sounds correct.
That show is really good. I I might have said her name wrong. Dalia. It's Dalia, in blue. That show's really good. I honestly would recommend not reading the synopsis to the show, because you'll be in for a much better experience of those first 3 episodes and the shit that happens in it than if you read the synopsis for the show. Because I watched it, I did not expect this show to be like this or to hit these plot points. And then I read the synopsis and went, oh yeah, it did tell me all that was going to happen.
It's like I thought. I expected exactly these things. These plot points.
It's very similar to Saints, but instead of like being a saint with omnipotent power, she's a artificer who just makes
with omnipotent power.
Who just makes magic items.
With omnipotent creativity.
Well, yeah, because she's been reincarnated, so she gets to make all the cool things that don't exist in the world. Well, yeah, that's all that for me then. Michael, what have you been up to?
Playing some Fortnite.
Right now.
Not right now.
No, I thought you can see Sean.
I could check.
Yeah, so
on your left, Michael.
Yeah, so the big joke with it was I downloaded and I went, you guys peer pressured me by saying nothing. I was like, damn, the game does actually look kind of fun. I guess I will try it out, and it's a good time. It's a good time.
Surprisingly fun.
John doesn't believe it, but it's a good time.
No, I do. I
It's a
played
good
Fortnite
time.
for a little bit. It's all right.
Yeah.
I didn't like the building, so I'm sure I'd enjoy no build.
Yeah,
But
you
Yeah,
would.
no build's
You
just
would.
a good time. You don't have to deal with shooting at someone and then building a entire skyscraper in front of you so you can't actually hit them anymore.
everyone's like, "That's just a meme. It doesn't happen." And then I watch literally any video of it. I'm like, "Yeah, no, it happens."
Like I understand in like actual gameplay, it probably isn't that bad, but just the fact that I could shoot at someone and they could put a wall between me and them, and I'm just like, that now I can't play the game.
I just love it. Like you'd shoot at someone, and then like without even seeing you, they would just like 3-story tall like building, and you'd just be like, "What? I had the advantage here. Now I don't."
Yeah.
Because it's all macros and like fucking button mashing, basically.
Play a little bit of that. Playing a little bit of Risk of Rain. Little thing came out for that yesterday. Second DLC, Seekers of the Storm. When the game's working, it's a really good DLC. The 3 characters that we got in it are all fun. Power wise, we don't worry about that. They kind of forgot how to balance things. But yeah, most of the items are fun. The new ones, at least some of them. Again, it's like the base game. Half the items are good, half the items are dog shit. But that's how some roguelikes go. And also Destiny 2 got like its 3rd pack of story started this week for this set of. I'm not going to go into how the fuck Destiny 2's current story structure is. It's nonsense. But Act 3 of its current episode currently just started. I haven't actually finished going through that yet because I went to play Risk of Rain stuff. I've tried like 2 runs of Gunfire. I'm trying to get through Elite. God, the game is so much harder on Elite than on normal.
Yeah, we just cleared a run of Elite. Solely not because of me. I died on the final boss and my buddy carried me through it. But we...
See, what happens is I'll just be like vibing, then I'll be like going crazy, and all of a sudden I get hit by literally one thing that was behind me that I didn't notice. And I'm like, damn, there goes my entire health bar.
Michael, I did it. I beat the ship boss today. It turns out when you have 2 people and one of you can go up and like grab the gimmick for the fight, and the other one can stand back and just deal with all the bullshit, the fight's a little better.
Also, if you know how the fight's gonna work, because it just throws a mechanic at you randomly. Also, I forgot, I've been playing a lot of Lethal Company, because there's a new update for that, that added in a new underground structure, or a new building, a new facility thing. It's the mine shafts, which are terrifying, because it is you have like your normal like building thing, then you have now you're entering a actual mine, like caves, like broken down, like hollowed out like cave rock structures, and they have like really whack world generation with those in like really tight spaces. They also had a fun new monster. I call him Bingus. He's a little guy. He runs around. He cries. You gotta pick him. He's a little baby. You gotta pick him up and you gotta rock him. If he cries too much, he gets mad. You don't want to see what happens when this guy gets mad. not a good time. I started Black Clover. I'm like 12 whole chapters into it. Black Clover's pretty cool. Asta's great. The entire group that I've met so far from Black Bulls is wonderful. I love all of them. Like Magna, my homie. Noelle, introduced as an asshole, and about 3 pages later they go, just kidding, there's actually a reason for it, kind of. And also, we're gonna redeem her on a lot of the shit that she's been doing. It's so good what they do with Noelle so quickly.
And it only gets better. And that's a female character in a shonen manga. Woo!
It goes the other way.
Yeah, I don't think I've done anything else outside of that. You know, my Zenless Zone Zero bullshit. I haven't really gotten anywhere in that. I've been trying max difficulty of the final like roguelike thing in that game. I was talking to Mason about this last night. This shit's fucking stupid. Because it has like the heat modifiers that like Hades does. But these are like, I don't know how bad the heat modifiers are when maxed out, but like
bad.
This ones are like really dumb. Like every time you get hit, you lose your ult charge and your energy charge to use your specials.
Oh, and Hades gets really bad in Hades, by the way.
Yeah, I've heard max heat's disgusting.
I mean, there's a reason why your heat can go up to like 80 in that game, but the last trophy is for like 32.
Yeah.
I know a guy who did it, who did all of it.
Yeah. I do know people have done max heat. People have done max difficulty with her in Garden.
Yeah.
It's just, God, does it feel like it's a toss-up sometimes you're allowed to even get through part of a run based off what things it gives you as your upgrades. But yeah, that's all. That's all I've done, I think. Yeah. Mason.
So I've also been playing some Fortnite. That game's fun. I hated to say that it's fun, but it is fun. I'm also I'm now 29 LP away from Plat and TFT again. So it's like 1 win. What else? I've watched a season of Batman Beyond. The show's rad. It's also like it's really fucked up.
It's dark. It's for a Batman show. It's dark.
It's very dark. Like
it's a different kind of dark than like what the original animated series. Like the original animated series has dark episodes. Beyond is dark in its entire concept.
Yes. It also just like has no problem with killing people all the time.
Is Batman Beyond the one with the black suit with like the red?
It's the black suit with the red. The suit's
fucking
red
with spikes and shit.
So the regular Batman suit has the spikes. It's just you hardly notice them because of how the suit looks. Yeah, the Beyond suit is the one that has claws, rocket boots, and can actually fly. It can go invisible, like it can just camouflage itself. The suit's just rad. Yeah, that show's very good. I'm excited to watch the other 2 seasons. I've heard they're not as good, but they're still like solid. It was my birthday yesterday. That's something.
Happy late birthday, Mason.
Thank you.
We were gonna do a bit where we sung Happy Birthday if we podcasted yesterday. We're not doing that today.
I don't know if we were actually gonna do it. I just thought it was really the first thing that came to my head. I was like, we could sing Happy Birthday one because it's like a bit that it's been in multiple of our shows. And also it'd be hilarious to do it over a Discord call.
That'd be bad.
Based Shiba Universe moment right there.
Shiba Universe was very good this week. I did.
The Shiba are getting acquainted. We'll be Shabak in a moment.
Yes.
I love the recent trend of like, guess we're doing circles now on Twitter, by the way. I love the different like Mikus as well, where we have like regional Mikus.
Yeah,
like regional Pokemon. It's been wonderful. But yeah, guess we're doing X now is the funniest thing. A fun fact, there was a new bug in League of Legends, by the way, recently that was going around where you could put a script into all chat and it would just crash the enemy team's games and wouldn't let them reload.
That's hilarious.
That was funny.
How does that happen?
I don't know, but I ran into it on my definitely main account the other day, and that was really fun.
John, are you gonna get addicted to the Pokemon auto chess?
I heard it's out. I've not looked into it at all. But the answer is probably yes if I saw it.
Yeah, I have friends who are playing.
I love ripping little Timmy at the Pokemon games. It's really fun. Like when Pokemon Unite first came out, and like every game, if you had hands, you just win like 500-0. It was great. But
with that, I think it's time to podcast. Like really get into the podcast. You know.
Yeah, it's like I didn't talk about. We're an anime podcast.
If you didn't know.
yeah.
And of course, that means I gotta show off our power ranking. And power ranking this week is based because it's top 3, middle 3, bottom 3. My favorite power ranking structure. Woo! A clear, concise, definitely accurate representation of how you feel about every show in the season. A top 3, middle 3, bottom 3. Right? Right? So yeah, there's some things here. Not a lot of bolts. I want you to know that before I got John's power ranking, there was a lot of bolts. And then John's power ranking came through, and it just...
I fixed it.
Yeah.
I fixed the bolt. Who had all the bolts before me?
All of us.
Probably you. And
all of us. No, it was quite literally that, like, Michael, Mason, and I have enough differing opinions that without your power ranking, each of us had at least 2 or 3 bolts. And then you showed up, and it just minimized it. In fact, it took away all of mine. I had 3 before your power ranking dropped, John.
Sean, I feel like we've been in agreement for a lot of the season.
Yes, you would have had Wistoria. You would.
It's really funny because Senpai was bolded on everybody's list before John, which I knew was bound to change.
Hey. Because, I mean, that's just how it works.
Okay. Yep. We're gonna leave Michael to do his thing.
Michael to do his thing? I think I need to do my thing first.
Well, no, I meant Michael. Michael's webcam's off for family. I imagine he'll be back with us. So temporarily, we are now different people. Do not worry about that. I'm not moving layout around. Fuck that. If you don't know who we are by now, you're gonna find out. But what I will do is I will bring about the bit. Stay fucking still. Perfect. So yeah, we'll jump into it. Let's talk about the episode that was Nokotan this week.
Yeah, Nokotan was certainly an episode this week. Nokotan opened by saying, "Hey, thanks for watching our show. We're gonna give you 18 shorts here real quick, and then we'll get into like another half an episode. It's a bunch of little shorts that kind of linked, kind of didn't.
Yeah, some of them were like,
favorite
here's
one
a
that linked
bit.
together was that they were like, hey, we'll try to raise money for the club, so let's sell Deer Club stuff on the website. So she sold like one of her antlers, and then they started selling like
antler adjacent products,
t-shirts and antler adjacent products. And then there was like a t-shirt, a wood carved one,
a stamp,
the official stamp as well. And it was great because you had the one person who loves Nokotan who bought it, and then you had like Neko who's like, oh, that's ridiculous, and then lying in bed going, fuck, it is a really good deal.
It's a stellar deal. That's cheap.
Great deal. And then we also had the bit where it's like, hey, time really works weird in this show, doesn't it? We can't really tell what time certain things are at. Yeah, that is weird. Anyways, it's summer now, so we have our summer uniforms, and Nokotan was having spots because sometimes deer shed their coat and have spots. And turns out she sheds her entire skin and then has a skin suit that she brings in that Bashame wears.
I forgot about this bit.
For what must have been the entire summer, because then we skip and they're like, now it's spring again, or now it's winter again because we say so. Which is kind of a great bit, I will say.
God.
That's kind of what I remember from this episode. I know there was like a weird ball.
Yeah, a weird antler ball at the end
as a pet.
that they say is a Tsuchinoko.
And that's kind of the episode. That's about it. Nokotan was weird. It didn't have me laughing this week. It had me a couple times. It had me breathing out of my nose. Is how I describe it, right? Like you exhale out of your nose a little bit. Like it wasn't making me laugh, but it was making me exhale out of my nose a little bit. It was kind of mid.
I think the rapid fire gets you for a bit. right? Like
when they line up together, it gets you a little.
They're like we have 18 bits, which for what it's worth, they do 16 of them, and then they do 2 longer ones for the second half, which is how it does it.
Okay, I lost count. So
yeah, I counted to be. I literally backed us up just to double check, and even then I might slightly be off. But yeah, there were a couple where it was like lightning, but there was 1 or 2 where I'm like, that's not even a bit. That's just conversation between 2 characters. Moving on. Yeah, I would love to say I remember a lot of these individual bits really strongly. Not outside of the skin suits and the items being sold. Not particularly. There was a body pillow bit for a little bit there. That was in there.
Yeah, there was a body pillow one in there.
Because that was part of the merch. Yeah, and then honestly, I can't even tell you what the first longer bit was. I just know the second one was the antler ball.
Yeah, antler ball is just a sentence.
To Tsuchinoko. No, it's fucking not. That was good. To which eventually she caves and goes, I guess it's Tsuchinoko after all, and then fucking.
This episode is fine.
Yeah. It's...
Like, in my opinion, the show has kind of run its course by this point. Like,
I'm sure we'll have a banger every once in a while.
Yeah, like some of the bits are funny.
Every now and then it's funny.
This is not a bad show. It's just it certainly I don't think it's shown that it has. It's not going full power, but I think it has the chops to make it to a top 3, let alone close to it. I think with this pack, we just have really strong shows this season. So like, whoops. I guess we will do what we did last week.
I will say, overall this week, I felt like a lot of shows were kind of meh.
Yes, I think there
wasn't like. There's a couple episodes I was like, okay, I kind of like that episode, or I like certain parts of the episode, but there's no episode this week for me that was like, oh, that's my clear number 1 this week, right? Like I was not
for me.
That's best episode of the week. Excellent job, guys. Great job, team.
For me, my top 4 were definitely like good, like really stellar episodes for those 4 shows. Otherwise, like my middle's very middle. And my bottom I have stronger feelings on, but even then I don't. We'll talk about the show. We'll talk about the show that's in 3 of our bottom. That's literally 3 of our number 9 show this week, but there's its own reasons for that. We are probably good to. Hold on, let me take a look here quick. Yeah, we are good for now. We'll just have Michael come back and give his thoughts on things when we get there.
So, Shoshimin, right?
Yeah, give me a sec. I gotta get the antlers off screen. This is the fastest antler segment we've ever had.
Antler off.
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go.
Okay. So, Shoshimin this week it's a pretty contained episode.
Yeah.
It starts off where Osanai tells Kobato to come over, but to stop at a cafe on the way and pick up it's like 2 puddings and then 4 of these they're called Charlotte cakes, but they're basically like little cakes that are like that have filling in the middle. That's like a jam. And he gets to her house. She lets him in, and then has to take a phone call almost immediately. She tells him, yeah, just wait right here, it'll be really quick. And then, like, an hour passes. So he ends up
it's probably not that long, but it almost feels like it with the way it's portrayed.
Yeah. So while he's waiting for her, he decides to have one of his cakes. Also, with these cakes, she told him to get 4 of them. They only had 3 of them. So he has one of these cakes and goes, holy shit, this is like the best thing I've ever eaten. Fuck, I want another one. I'm having another one. And then he has it and he goes, fuck. I have to hide this from her. So he spends a lot of the episode contemplating how what he thinks will work will go, and then eventually settles on a plan and follows through on it. And Osanai kind of messes with him for a little bit, and then tells him, "Yeah, no, I know you had one. You had two, and there were three of them." And she figures this out because he is sweating a lot and keeps wiping away his sweat with a handkerchief. And then after she comes back, he wipes it away with a tissue. She catches him. Welcome back.
We'll go through the we're in the middle of the Shoshimin, so we'll go through the Shoshimin segment, and then we'll have Michael backtrack for Nokotan.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Are you done with the recap, Mason?
Yeah.
I do want to add there's one important thing here, and that is the start of the episode. She comes up and goes, "I have a plan for the summer of all these sweet shops I'm gonna hit, and you're gonna do it with me." And he goes, "No." And because he gets caught here, he gets roped into doing more of the summer plans, which I imagine will be where the rest of this show goes.
He also gets kicked in the shin by a fucking wooden fucking boot, and that could not feel good. Like, but I liked a little bit where they were going to the festival together. I thought that was nice.
I forgot.
When they were doing the cake thing, I thought he was just he ate the cake because he was just waiting for her, and then was like, well, I can't tell her that there was 3 because she wanted 4, so I could just tell her there was 2, basically, and try to play this off.
Yeah, the idea is that you get 3 for somebody who asked you for them, you eat 1, and you want another, and that's not really a thing you should do without asking when you've gotten something for somebody, which is kind of the whole idea. I'm surprised he doesn't get murdered at the end of this.
Yeah, she's a wolf. Why did she not kill him?
Why does she not commit murder?
He does perhaps the most deranged fucking thing in this episode, almost equally as deranged as putting warm milk back into the fridge, which is he has a decently large cup of barley tea and a small cup of hot coffee, I believe it is. And because he is sweating like mad, he eats the Charlotte and drinks the barley tea to cool down. But because he drinks the barley tea first, he eats the Charlotte. The Charlotte's cool, so he has the chocolate to go with it. He has the coffee to go with it. And then he goes, shit, I've drinking my coffee. Why would I drink my coffee if it's so fucking hot out? And he thinks, and he thinks, and he thinks, and he goes, well, the only course of action is to pour barley tea in my coffee.
Maybe look at this. There's the right amount of coffee.
It's the right color, I guess. Fucking deranged human beings exist in this show.
That was just certainly... He could have just finished the coffee and then poured a fresh cup of barley tea, because she would notice the barley tea's empty anyways, and then it's just like... To me, it's like... He took... That also could have gotten him caught. It's because, like, that container was, like, full of tea. Wouldn't she have just noticed that it's empty now?
The idea is he's sitting in a hot...
tea.
The idea is he's sitting in a hot room, so the barley tea is fine if he drinks it, because he's trying to cool down, because he's not touching anything else in the room.
But his coffee being empty, like, so he had 2 glasses, right?
Yeah, so he fills the coffee back up with the barley tea, so that it doesn't look like he's drank the coffee.
But wouldn't the coffee just get cold anyways?
Well, that's besides the point.
No, so the idea is that you only drink the coffee if it's with the sweets.
I get it, but like...
And again, I don't think she's actually gone enough that the coffee's going to be fucking... lukewarm.
I mean, she's gone long enough for him to eat this entire sweet, drink most of his coffee, prepare this elaborate ruse, and then also, like, patiently wait. Because he waited a bit before he ate the thing first, too.
Yeah.
But
also, this entire thing could have taken place in 5 minutes.
Again, the show drags it out, but we don't exactly know how long it's been. Maybe there's a clock somewhere for consistency's sake, but...
I do love his delusions, like, when he like, thinks of doing something, and he imagines her, like, walking out and catching him. Those are wonderful.
I was gonna say, I'm really happy.
Especially the first time, at least. I love the first time.
Yeah, I'm really happy that he runs to the first scenario. He goes, that's gonna take too long. He does the second scenario, and as he's thinking of the second scenario, I go, that is gonna be longer than the first one, you fucking idiot. And then he stops himself and he goes, that's too long as well. I'm like, good. I'm glad you somehow, because like they start to show it. He gets halfway through the plan, and I'm like, this is where she walked in on the last one. Why is she not walking in your imagination? He goes, oh god, we're not even halfway done yet. Okay, cut the plan. Not gonna work. We have to get a little deranged here. I think there are a couple of things that could probably have gotten him caught here. I don't necessarily think that it's written in a way where like the one he gets caught for is bad. But, like, I definitely think... I think it's really silly that he's like, there's 2 napkins with the puddings. How many napkins are there for the Charlottes? I'm just gonna use every fucking napkin on the fucking table. I don't think she's counting napkins. I'm gonna be real with you.
Also, what is...
So the interesting, he's trying to figure
really
out how he would deduce it?
Bavarian cream? Like, would his handkerchief really get that stained from Bavarian cream is my question.
Well, don't forget,
the idea is that the
only wipe his mouth with it, but like...
He also has other stuff in it, too. Like, I think he has trash also wrapped in the handkerchief.
The idea is that he didn't want to throw out the Charlotte's pin, or like its original base, because she could see that in the garbage can. So he's keeping it in his handkerchief in his pocket to hide it from her, so she doesn't know it ever existed.
Because he also doesn't necessarily clean off the spoon; he just puts the spoon in the new Charlotte.
Yeah, so it being dirty would make sense.
Yeah. I think this is.
I also love the way she catches him on it, with the way she hits him with the. So what does the inside taste like, dumbass? He's like, how the fuck did you catch? It's so good the way she calls him out on it.
Yeah, she sets him up. She starts to get him, and then he's like, and then he hits the. I've had it before, which we all know is a goddamn fucking lie. This man doesn't eat sweets. His family runs a confection shop, and he still doesn't eat fucking sweets. But the only reason he consumes them is her. I think this is a fine episode. I don't really have a problem with it. It's.
We just have a lot of really solid shows.
Yeah,
it's a good episode. It's a good episode. It's a hard show to like put above things. I think is my thing. It's really hard to like shove it really high.
Yeah, unless it does
feels
something.
Like sometimes.
Unless it does something insane, in which point. Also at this point,
which is what episodes 1 to 3 did. It conceptually it felt insane.
Even on like this point though, pulling something insane now is difficult because it also like you're still competing with the previous weeks that other shows have had that have been really good. For me, this show is in a tough position where like it has a really big uphill. Like the last 4 episodes have to be killer for this for me, for it to really push further ahead on my end. Michael, Nokotan.
Nokotan. The 18 bits thing was a wonderful idea. I think it's actually hilarious. I definitely liked I remember liking the first half more than the second half. So when they're like rapid firing through the bits, I like that more than the like super long drawn out bit that is like the second half of the episode.
Yeah, the Tsuchinoko.
Or like, yeah. But yeah, I like.
Suit.
Oh yeah, that was that kind of. I forgot that even happened.
You're right.
Maybe I dropped this a spot. Maybe I dropped this to 8. I just forgot that happened. I erased that from my mind. I remember
fucking hilarious.
I thought it was conceptually funny for the first second it was on screen. I didn't want it to be on screen any more than that.
Yeah, this definitely.
Especially when it pops back up later in the episode,
She's
and
just wearing it later, right?
She wore it the entire summer.
Yeah, it certainly was.
She's like, it's insulated.
Yeah.
It sure is something. Next up, we got Senpai. This week on Senpai, we pick up kind of where we left off, in that Ryuji is sick at home. And Ryuji is sick at home, and he's contemplating his feelings, and then Makoto shows up and is like, "How you're sick? You're just here to check in, make sure you're doing good. You like Aoi, right?" And he goes, "Why are we doing this again? I told you no." And Makoto's like, "But it's the only thing that makes sense in my brain." He's like, "I promise you.
Only person I know.
I swear so fucking much it's not her." And he goes, "Oh, well, I was just gonna let you know that it would have been fine because she told me she doesn't like me anymore." And he's like, "What the fuck happened when I was sick?" So then they go back to school, and it is we're getting to the point where the students have to start making life decisions about what they want to do, where they want to go to school, what their job and career outlooks are. And so Ryuji is getting kind of pushed by some of his teachers to go to a good school. Aoi is getting back into it with some of her other friends who adore her and have missed her. Makoto is being asked by the basketball club if he wants to officially join the team or not. And he's unsure. And also, he has a moment with the world's most based dad, where they're driving in the car. He's like, "So things, times pass. You know anything yet about what you want to be like as a person?" you've worked any of that out. If not, that's fine. If you have, let me know, because I'll do everything in my power to make sure you can go live your life however you want. I'll deal with your mom. Don't worry about her. I'll make it work. It'll be tough, but we'll do it.
Most based dad.
Most
ever,
based
dude.
fucking dad. Because
actually the GOAT.
And they try to get you with it too, because like he delivers a line where it's like, if you choose that you want to be a girl, I'll make it work somehow. And the way he says it almost like at first makes it sound like it would be a problem for him. And then he's like, because I will support you wholeheartedly through the whole thing. It's like, oh, base dad, cool. I just had to find a way to convince your mother and console her, because that's gonna be the issue. But hey, he's like, that's not your problem though. You don't gotta worry about that. You live your life. We get back to school. Makoto has a moment with Aoi where Makoto's like, what would you do if you have a choice between two things and you're not sure what you want to do? And he's talking about the basketball team. And Aoi's like, well, do you have to choose? Like, can't you just hang out with your friends and also play for the basketball team whenever you feel like it? And Makoto's like, that's a really great outlook on life. And meanwhile, Aoi is screaming inside because this is her entire character problem, is that she can never make a flat decision. It is always sitting on the fence on things, trying to play every side to everything. But Makoto doesn't know this, so he thinks it's wonderful advice. And the basketball team's cool with it, I guess, because why not? He's a free sub that they'll bring in every once in a while.
Also, he's just the best player on the team, apparently.
Yeah, kind of based. We get the cultural festival. Makoto's class does a takoyaki stand. He puts his hair up. It's adorable. Aoi comes by. Her class is doing a haunted house. She's a ghost with blood. She's adorable. To which there's a bit where Aoi's like, Makoto, you're not gonna get scared because I'm a ghost, right? He goes, no. Look at you. Who could be scared of you? And Ryuji is not telling anyone what his class is doing, because he's drawn the short end of the straw and is currently cross-dressing in a maid cafe. We get a wonderful scene of Ryuji in a maid cafe. He rocks this outfit.
In hindsight, kind of a terrible int from Makoto's class to not just do the reverse maid cafe. Honestly, like, kind of an int. They had it right there.
Yeah, but the takoyaki stand kind of rules.
Their class could have won the whole festival. They could have gotten a pizza party for the whole class or whatever they do.
It's fine because everybody wins, because Makoto winds up helping out anyway, and everyone goes, damn, he looks good in a maid outfit. Everyone's like, damn, he really pulls off the maid outfit. That's kind of crazy. And so
Am I gay?
And so we're at the closing part of the episode, where they're calling everybody out to the bonfire to do their weird bonfire dance thing we do in every show this season, apparently. And yeah, and Ryuji and Makoto are just kind of chilling. And Makoto's like, here's your clothes, by the way. And then Ryuji's wallet falls on the floor. And if you remember from episode, 3, we know that he has a photo of Makoto sleeping in his wallet. Just full front center. My man has not considered the risks of this at all. And we closed this episode on it falling between the two of them and Ryuji rushing to covering it up, because perhaps our main character's not this dense, and this will be what it takes for him to connect the dots. Maybe.
Makoto goes, wow, that's a cute girl in your profile picture. Is that who you're into?
Wait a minute, you have a girl in your wallet. You put a photo of a wallet, a person you like. See, this is dangerous, though, because if Ryuji gets into a bus accident and his whole entire face gets scarred and burned, and a quack doctor opens his wallet, he's gonna give him Makoto's face, and that's not good! John, this is the plot of Pretty Face, a manga on Shonen Jump.
No, see, I thought that was the plot of Heavenly Delusions.
Yeah, also...
It might also be that.
Also, case 4 of Ace Attorney... 2, 3, which one has?
That's right. That was a case where that
3,
happened.
2?
Where it was like the twins or whatever.
I think it's case 2 of game 2. The Eeny Meeny stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, where she was like a nurse in like an accident or whatever.
That's like introduced that before they like pull some
that
bullshit in case 4 of that game.
Yeah, because they do the back, because you get introduced to the concept.
No, that wouldn't be
case 4.
I don't.
It's somewhere in there. It's an Ace Attorney case too. That's the part.
Yeah, the Eeny Meeny stuff.
This episode's really good. I really like this episode. We get a lot of really good moments between the cast. It's a transitional period, both for like their life and into the next step of the episode. Yeah, you never know.
I thought this episode was fine. Yeah.
That was good.
I
did really
Alya
like
being
the
character, but that's okay.
She's over there.
She's over on the bench.
She's petting the cat.
She's copiuming.
Yeah.
But hey, Senpai, there's a cat. Anyways, I'm out of this episode. Bye.
I really like the culture festival stuff. It was fun. It's just real fun stuff. Hey, we get like actual like crazy character stuff between some of these characters this episode.
Stuff's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna wind up being like, this is always something that is, as someone who just read Blue Flag, you know, this is gonna be a really interesting thing to see how this show handles this, because characters coming out is a choice, and sometimes it's not, and depending on how, and like on one hand, Ryuji's given Makoto enough information that you could say he's kind of come out, like, directly to Makoto. Makoto just didn't piece it together, right?
Ryuji hasn't even really come out to himself yet. That's the issue.
Yeah, it's that is gonna be part of it for sure. But like, so I don't think this is like a, oh no, this goes against completely what Ryuji wanted. He took the chance, and he's definitely been thinking about just outwardly telling Makoto.
He's wanted Makoto to figure it out for the last like 2 episodes.
Yeah, and with Alya out of the picture, it does kind of feel like now would be the time to do it. But the complicated matter is, this is somebody's best friend for like 14, 15, maybe more years of their life. That's a thing you have to think about, because it impacts a prior relation and potentially creates a new one. And there's a lot of complicated stuff that's gonna come from this, and I'm interested to see how this show tackles it.
Yeah, like, biggest problem, what if Makoto's not gay as well? Like, what if Makoto just doesn't like dudes?
We also do get a really neat scene in this episode where they're all at home watching the same romantic movie, and they each focus on a different part of the scene that highlights their particular problem with like love, which I think is a really good way to re-highlight that.
I mean, I think Aoi just like basically checks out and then just like turns it off, basically, right?
Yeah.
Special guest appearance from Michael family.
We're getting everybody today.
But
Sister's gonna show up. The dog's gonna show up.
You know, like you said, like this is a good episode. I am interested to see how they resolve this conflict, because I'm glad that conflict is happening, because that's how romance shows progress. It's just what it is. You get the big reveal of like, oh no, I said I like you on accident. Ah, no, what are we gonna do? Ah.
Yeah.
Trauma.
I definitely think there's a matter of like, there's lots of emotions that gotta get sorted out, and it's just a matter of how you do it.
Mm-hmm. So what did you think of this episode?
I really enjoyed it. I know it's down at 7. It probably shouldn't be, but I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was really good. To me, there is a very clear gap between my 7 and 8. So I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was very cute. With just Ryuji being Ryuji. I love that boy. Adorable. But yeah, it's a good show. Good episode.
And with that, we get on right into certain someone hiding in Russian.
Yeah, so Alya this week. This week we have obviously student council. We have newly paired together group in which they have to. I'm trying to remember what exactly happened. I know that like Yuki had to introduce a new member to the student council, who is clearly, that happened at the end of the episode,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. So it starts with Yuki
it starts
and
with Yuki
go
pulling
off.
Alya aside and they go off to go do something together. And Yuki pulls her aside and it's like, all right, Alya, do you like him? She's like, well, I wouldn't say I like him. It's just hard to like, you know, put that into thoughts. Where's this coming from? Well, I like him a lot. I would die for this man. I would commit genocide for this man.
He's more important to me than my mother and my father. Smile. Smile like a gremlin.
And Alya goes, well, he's mine. I got dibs. What the fuck did I just say? And so...
And then Misha makes him tea with...
Yeah, Misha makes him tea with jam, which is a thing in Russian. And he's like, ooh, that's way too sweet. And then Alya comes back. She's like, "Oh, Alya, here's your jam that you have with your tea." And it's just a fucking full plate of like basically the entire jar of jam.
Yeah, and Alya also.
To which he just goes, "Not gonna say it."
Yeah, Alya also decides that she wants to snuggle up to him and makes up a lie about sitting about if you sit at the end of at the edge of the table, you're no longer going to be wed anymore. Some dumb...
Which the sister completely goes along
Yeah.
with and is like, no, that's true, absolutely true.
Yeah,
Yep,
she
you got to baby him.
You understood the assignment.
Masachika. Into which she goes, and someone's like, he's like, you can't even think about that. And she's like, listen, marriage isn't in the cards yet. Come on now. And he's like, stop.
And they go to the cafe.
And then they decide to go to the cafe to have their little meeting together and their strategy plan. Where he's like, hey, listen, here's our strategy. We're gonna do this, then we're gonna. And she's just going, God, he's really cute. This sucks. I need to think about this. And ends up like going like, yep, I heard you. Yep, problem. Yuki's a problem. Won by a landslide. There was 6 nominees, and Yuki just like bodied everybody because it wasn't close, and made a girl cry, who is now like the vice president of the current student council.
No, different one. She's not active. She's not actively a part of the group yet.
Oh, okay.
Because she's the one with the glasses who they see walking.
That's right.
She's the one that they're going to be running against, or that she's going to be partnering.
No, it's also different.
Different. Yeah.
That he expects it to be her, and he thinks they have a really bad shot if it is her. She brings in a completely new character instead to be her running.
Who he recognizes though as a problem.
Who from the opening, I have a guess about what her role in the story is.
I think she's like former love interest.
I think she might be like a maid who works for the family, based on shots of the OP. But
while at the diner, Alya has a giant fizzy drink and also a giant sundae that starts to melt, and so they share an indirect kiss because they're trying to embarrass each other. In which he's like, I'll get her back with my own indirect kiss of spicy curry. And it makes her like suffer. But basically it's like, well, how'd the last president win in his election? He's like, because it was a sob story and a coming of age story and a heroic, the hero's journey.
A glow up.
He was fat and sad, but then he had a glow up, and now he's the GOAT, so you should vote for him. And so they did, and he won. It's like, we need to figure out some way to drive emotion in our audience to beat Yuki, basically. And like you said, at the very end, we introduce a new girl, completely new to the story, as well, who our main character recognizes, and we're not sure why, whose name is like Ayano, I believe. Who's a first year as well. Which is a year below, I think, are like Yuki and Matsuchika and Alya. If I'm correct, I think they're second years. Going into third.
Alya and Matsuchika are second years, and I think Yuki is first year.
And I think Masha.
That would make sense because we're not twins, and that's how logic works.
Are third years, yeah.
Misha's third year, yeah.
They're not twins. What? Crazy.
No, yeah. Well, no,
I thought the show.
Yuki might also be their year. Yeah, no, she has to be because they ran together on the same ballot in middle school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they feel like they would have both.
He had to be her.
Because they're like literally like. They're like they are twins, so.
Are they really?
I'm pretty sure they're
mathematically. Mathematically, I think so. Otherwise, there's some crazy shit going on over there.
They are the same age. Just googling it, they are the same age.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure they were set as twins, but again, I don't know if it's ever actually said.
Yeah.
Again, I just kind of assumed.
I mean, it's also possible they're not twins, and given their living arrangement, they just wound up in the same year of schooling by a weird technicality. But
I mean, she's just super
9 months. I think is still short enough that you could be in the same year. It's just
they're not
really.
Twins. How does this math work out? Something's just not right with their.
We're not.
We would have to. I'm sure we'll get into
they got some
background.
really weird family things we're not gonna.
Guys,
we haven't learned
maybe
about
she's
that are
just
gonna come
adopted, so it's okay for her to have a bro complex because they're not blood related, so it's
no.
fine,
We know that's not true.
No.
We've explicitly set up that that's not the case, and she's very sad about it. Yeah.
Sorry, huffing the
copium.
I think
huffing the gigacopium.
I think this is a good episode. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
it's just that like retroactively after watching it, not a lot of it stuck with me. Like it was just a pretty run of the mill episode for me. That's why it's like basically middle of pack. I don't dislike it at all. I still enjoy this show.
I don't remember where I put this, but yeah, it's a good show.
It's a good show. I'm also realizing I probably shouldn't have put it at 3, but
it's not like we still get good bits between the characters. I think these characters are wonderful. Like again, Kusei's fucking VA in English fucking kills that role.
He kills everyone.
The funniest thing that happens watching the show dubbed, which is just a general thing that happens when watching dubbed shows, because they're still, even though we're in like the era of more people are doing dub roles, every time I hear Alya, sometimes Alya will say a line and I go, God, that's Ash Ketchum. Ew, It's the same VA. It just feels so weird because like every once in a while, one line read sounds vaguely like Ash. Well, every fucking line Yuki says sounds like Ivy, but like I've gotten over that one.
This is now you won't be able to go back and watch Tamer ever again. It would be impossible for you dubbed.
Maybe.
Any other thoughts on Alya?
I'm enjoying it. It's still a good time.
Love this character. It's a great cast.
It's done a good job of making itself better than what I initially thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it absolutely seems like hot trash, and it is hot trash, but it has really fun characters, so like it at least is a good time.
It has redeeming qualities. It's good.
Yeah.
And now it's time for Wistoria. This week on Wistoria, we get a One Piece ass recap at the start of this episode, which I think is really funny. They do a full 2-minute recap and then into the intro. So if you've forgotten, because the show thinks you have, did we not get name cards this episode?
We might not.
I think we're so deep into action they don't bother popping up names.
Specifically got one for Will this episode. I know that one for sure.
Oh, maybe they did during the flashback stuff. That's possible.
Yeah. Because again, it is important that we do remember the main character is Will Serfort, because you might have forgotten.
It's the hardest name in the show. So meanwhile, Scion. So we learn a little bit here. We get some flashbacks that's all done in black. I love what this show does its flashbacks in black and white. I think it's really cool. In like a neat stylistic choice. So Scion recognized that Will sucked major ass when he entered this academy and had no talent whatsoever. And to try to lend a hand to him, he went, "Come be my underling." But you see, Will's too hyper-focused on his waifu, and so he's not listening. He's got AirPods in and he's walking down the hall. We get a really interesting scene where people have done the bully, put the sheet of paper on Will's back, and Scion just burns it from halfway across the room, and I think that shot's rad.
It's awesome.
And then Will ignores him, and he gets really upset about it. And he chases after Will, he keeps yelling out at him, and he grabs Will, and Will turns and he goes, "Dude, leave me the fuck alone. I don't know why any of you are fucking with me. Leave me alone. Leave me alone." And he walks away. And we find out later that Scion follows him still, and then when Will refuses, turn around and fucking fires a fireball at him. But we'll come back to that in a minute. So we find out that the scouts are very upset that Scion's attacking Will, because this is a team tournament and you don't do that. But also Scion pops the fuck off here, so the scouts are kind of like, he's got it good actually. He really shouldn't have done this, but now that he has, I kind of like what he's doing. We get some insanely cool action shots of the fire whipping around the tree as Will runs from it. It catches him, it slams him into the ground, he cuts it. Scion summons a firebird. Summon that tries to murder Will. Meanwhile, Colette is fighting Julius, kind of, and steps on one of Edward's traps and gets fucking murked. We'll come back to that later. We see that Julius has like 12 shadow clones throughout the entire battlefield and is trying to smurf on everybody. And Windbro, whose name I forget right now, goes, "No, I'm not having any of that," and just destroys the one immediately because he picked up on this ahead of time.
I'm like ale or something.
We get an implication here that this is a spell that Alfaria has developed, that he is using, which means it's very powerful, probably. We also don't know exactly what he's planning with this. So Julius and his team head on off to the center of the area. We get a shot of two really cool elves, just vibing, who helped cast this entire field. One of them's a social butterfly, the other one's antisocial. They both rule. I think these characters are so cool, and I'm excited to maybe learn more about them one day. We cut back to the stadium of everyone being in shock and awe about how cool Scion is and how Will is still holding his own. I can't think of her name. I know
Colette?
Iris.
Iris,
Iris
yeah.
joins Rusty in the stands and is like, I think I love Will. Will's great. I'm here to watch Will. And Rusty goes, yeah, join the fucking party. You got me, you got
We all
you,
do.
we got Colette, you got Scion, and then we cut.
And none of us matter because he's simping for the
Yeah.
girl in the tower.
But we have a really great moment where it cuts afterwards of that, where there's the subtle implication that Scion maybe or maybe not has feelings for Will. And then we go back into the flashback where we see that Scion's upset because Will he just wants to be noticed by Will. Will pays him no attention.
Notice me, Senpai.
We get a line where he's actively shouting at Will. He's like, I've bullied you. I fucking hate your guts. I make your life miserable as hell, and you haven't done a goddamn thing. You don't resent me. You don't hate me. And Will goes, no, I fucking do. I want to throttle you every second of every day, and I hold myself back. And Scion's like, then why won't you fucking fight me? And Will goes, because I want to fight Julius right now, you idiot.
I'll fight you later.
And
Fine.
Scion does not like that, and he drops a fucking look at me, dingus. At which point, Colette comes back in and yells at both of them like they're toddlers because she doesn't understand what the fuck they're doing here. She is in Y Schwartz damaged clothing mode, and Gacha game damaged clothing mode, to which Scion can't handle this, and Colette doesn't give a damn, and Will doesn't give a damn. And also, like, it's not that bad. This is, like, the most tasteful I've ever seen damaged battle attire look and be referenced like this. It just makes Scion blush because he's a shy boy. And so Colette's like, Will, you gotta go after Julius. I'm gonna keep Scion here, even though I have to beat the shit out of him. And Will's like, cool, take my jacket. And then he fucking Superman launches himself into the air and crashes dead center into the arena, and that's where we end the episode.
Broadcast Grand Starfall and drops in.
Really did.
I think this episode
Fucking
so
champion
fucking
looking
rad.
ass.
I think the
Yeah.
action looks really cool.
I think Guardian Demacia is also one that does the same.
Jarvan the Fourth, fucking for my father, the king.
Yeah, I think the action in this episode's rad. I like this. I like the backstory stuff with Scion. I really enjoyed this dynamic of the character. All his magic's dope as hell. I'm super excited to watch Will
Phoenix
beat
magic
the
was
shit
pretty
out of
cool.
Julius.
I thought this would be the gayest shonen we would watch this week. Somehow I was wrong.
God, it's fucking crazy what happened. Yeah. Yeah, this episode's rad. I love the reveal that, like, Julius's thing that he's doing isn't just trying to go fuck over Scion and Will, it's casting fucking ice clone jutsu. It's awesome.
Which makes... it doesn't make sense to me how he can do all that at once, but I guess...
It
hey,
seems focused.
magic.
It seems focused on the roses he has.
Magic.
I mean, we know that him, the wizard, the elf, and the other girl are all supposed to be incredibly cracked, and like on paper they're all stronger than Scion. And Scion just casted a summon while also fucking lighting up the entire arena.
Yeah, like the scouts are talking like, wait a second. He is
No.
controlling a guardian and casting high-level spells at the same time.
And he casted a huge fucking high-level spell to start the fight.
We think someone would like look at Will and be like, yeah, but like he can't touch that guy.
Yeah,
And
right.
He just has a
That's the thing,
sword
it's also
made
scouts
out
are,
of
wait
the
a second.
ground.
We haven't
Will
talked.
is cooking right now.
They haven't talked about it yet, but like, cause they did that last episode. This week they're really focused on how good Scion is. But yeah, that's got to be the moment, right? The guy gets away, like he doesn't give in and fight, and
Also,
doesn't.
Colette's kind of cracked too. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
we're talking
He
enough
beats
about
the
that
Julius
because like
clone.
she creates the gauntlet and the sword that is surviving all these hits, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, also managed to fight at least a clone of the super strong wind mage guy, which even as a clone still clearly presents a problem.
And takes a full-on trap from one of the strongest teachers
Yeah.
that he's just set up in this area. Yeah, these characters are fucking cracked.
The power scaling is already super high in the show, and that's what worries me about it.
Well, yeah, they have to be
I
ready to
docked
fight
it
extraterrestrial
a little bit this
threats from
week.
the sky.
Yeah, I did dock it a little bit this week because it was just... I think it was something about, like... I don't know if it was, like, animation or something. I remember, like, getting... Like, it skipped some stuff in, like, the fighting, I guess, from what I remember. But I could be thinking of something else. But,
There's a really bad
don't
shot
know.
of the stadium with the very, very part of the background doesn't move that Michael pointed out to us.
that one was pretty bad. I did that might be why as well, but it also just feels like Scion. This is just Scion being a big baby, which is fine because it fits, but also it's just like there's a time and place for this, man.
I mean, I do like the backstory we get for Scion. I do like he was in his own stupid, dumbass way trying to reach out to Will.
Yeah.
And Will just wasn't in a moment to try to, in a moment to, like, accept it.
He was just that meme of, like, hey, why can't you find any good henchmen these days? And it's like, they're either too smart or too dumb.
Like, it is crazy, because we get the first version of it we get from Scion's point of view, and then when we get it from Will's point of view, everything's muffled, because he's not listening to he's blocked everything out around him, and I think that's a really cool way to show that he's literally not paying attention. You also get the shot where it switches back, it goes back into color, Will's looking up at the tower, and then it cuts back to Scion's point of view, and Scion's like, you look at everything that isn't fucking me. It is infuriating. And then Michael pointed out while we were watching it, you get the transition shot of him fireballing Will from behind, and then it cutting to the fireball coming at him in the actual, like, live current fight.
Sick.
It's really cool.
Transition.
The action in the show is fantastic. This is some of the best action, if not just the best action this season.
I'm just glad that
it's clean.
Magic show where characters use more than one spell 17 times.
Yeah, all the spells have cool ass names I'm never gonna remember.
Yeah. And even if it is the same spell, they do unique things with it each time.
Yeah.
Like Will's, like
Harry Potter
casted like
casts
4
something
spells.
like 5 spells the entire 7 books.
Yeah. Yeah, because like Scion's casted like only a few spells here, but he's using them in ways that like visually are creative. Like he's using just this thing where he has like a whip or whatever made of fire, like a fire vine, and he's doing a ton of shit with it. It's a unique visual.
I have to assume, by the way, given the studio
my Sense of Scorch also just got Fire Lash. Pretty hype.
I have to assume, given the studio that's doing this is predominantly Bandai Namco, feeding money into this. Because like.
So we're getting a video game out of this, right?
Because Actus, because it's 2 studios, it's Actus and Bandai Namco Pictures. Actus is like, other things it's done are like Girls and Panzer, Princess Principal, shit that doesn't look this pretty. And then Bandai Namco, which Gintama. So like,
thank you, Bamco.
Aruma-kun, stuff that does look pretty. Or
I can't wait till we get to like later game of this show and like the seal in the sky breaks and bullshit is occurring.
Even then, just like the Magia Vanders all seem cracked. Like,
yeah,
like we
They're
think
all just like fucking instant transmission all over the place.
We think these characters are already kind of set in the power scale. I can almost guarantee you the lightning guy's gonna snap his fingers once and fry somebody. Like,
I also love that they're cracked and they're also just like, yeah, I know we're so fucked, by the way, but like,
yeah, they're like, this shit ain't going well. We need more manpower, and
we're so dead.
It might not even help us once we get it. I'm very excited. This is probably one of the shows I am most excited for its next episode.
It's one of those shows that, like, man, I'm excited to read it once we're done.
Oh, so much. I'm gonna hop into this too. I have to figure out where I'm gonna fucking read it at, but.
What do you mean, Sean? One of your many totally legal streaming services that have not been knocked down this week.
There was like a poll that went out to like Viz readers or something.
I love that.
It was the poll. So hey, do you ever read this off of our site and read anything on something other than our site? If you do, please tell us what kind of places you read it on. It's really no. It was from Manga Plus. That's what it was. It wasn't from Vid, but yeah. It was absolutely gold. It's like you can't get us ops.
Update, they got us.
Can't catch you.
Update, they got us.
Yeah, this ain't.
At least someone said something.
They said Twitter. We ain't gonna tell you all the places we go once we learn someone's been shut down. We're not just gonna list them all on a very popular thread. That'd be silly and dumb to do.
It's crazy seeing how much of the things got taken down off of like TikTok being like, hey, here, you should go to this website to watch things. Thing goes down like a month later.
Thanks, TalkTick.
Thanks.
I want to say that's why Kiss Anime got like yeeted out. I mean, Kiss Anime also forever, but like
Because anime
It got
boomed
heated.
like 17 times. They kept changing their different region from like
Yeah.
Russia to Australia. Not that
God,
I
I
would know,
love
but,
seeing
like,
the different extensions. At the end
Extensions.
of this anime.
it's
Here's
like,
one.
where is it now? Let's just wait for let's scroll down the third Google search. That's always the one that has the new link.
Let's talk about VTuber this week.
Oh boy. I don't think you guys liked this show very much this week. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and that's because this episode was kind of mid. It was kind of mid. I didn't like it that much either. So it starts out with one of our new members having some of the older gen on for her usual little game show where they take turns answering questions correctly, for the sake of trying to be funny. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't really land very well, which is the downside. But I mean, that is just a form of content that does happen, where it is trying to be funny for the sake of being funny. Yeah, and we learned fun things like millipedes that poop on their eggs to keep them warm, and animals that try to poke each other with their penises to breed each other.
Did you know this one? I knew this one. I knew this one before the episode.
I didn't.
That one I knew about the centipedes one.
I think I knew the poop one as well.
Michael and I knew about the salamander.
Yeah, I did know the salamander. I mean,
the monkeys that drink
I
alcohol.
was like,
I think I heard about the monkeys that drink alcohol too at one point, but I don't remember.
that one is funny. I do like monkeys drinking alcohol.
I did not know about the lizard that fucking shoots blood out of its eyes.
Yeah,
That
Yeah,
was
I didn't know.
sad.
I wasn't sure if that was those. And I was like, if we're going with an interesting thing it does, it's gonna have to be the one that shoots blood out of its eyes, right? It's like that's the funny guy. He goes.
Unfortunately, there's a second half of the episode that wasn't as fun. That is what you guys don't like about it, which is where
First half was
Aruyuki
fine.
goes on Irai's show and comes over for a offline collab where it's like, hey, we're gonna collaborate and do my this week news episode that I do, and I want to have you on. It's like, that's great. Unfortunately, I have a mommy complex, which is the opposite of I'm baby complex, which you'd think that would have been the most obvious collab to have here. Which they do mention in the show.
We'll talk about the problem that person's
And
having.
it gets a little bit, and it gets a little extra personal about it. But when they do the news live on chat, I thought it was actually a pretty funny section because you
I
have
like this segment.
the main character who's playing Bang Dream and dropping like $900 to try to pull their Oshi, and then just fucking loses their goddamn shit when they do. And I'm like, you know what? That's it. That's
but
the
that is
content.
that's also a base choice for Oshi though. That's like one of the best characters from Bandori.
Yeah, we have our fighting motivational streamer who does a spicy ramen eating challenge, which is also a thing. And they argue over, no, she's my baby. I am her mother. And she's like, no, that is my shtick. Listen, I'm everyone's mother.
I've
It
come
is
up
mine.
with right now. It started today.
I mean, we don't see much of her stream to know that it's like the casual, like, yes, she's the mother of the group.
Yes,
we don't realize that it is a
taking it
not a
farther happens today. It just happened an hour ago.
And then they both talk about how the I'm Baby VTuber almost got her first stream banned because she was using different pacifiers, and that's an interesting audio to experience on stream. But yeah, I thought this episode wasn't as good as the other ones. I didn't think it was the worst thing I watched this week, but I think it's fair to argue.
I think it was the worst thing I watched this week. I didn't hate. So
it was the only thing I had an actual problem with because I just really didn't like the mobby bits.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of those at all.
I'm gonna bring up my biggest gripe.
I agree, but I also feel like it's doing this to play up on the bits of
I know.
But I don't like
it doesn't
bits.
need to go that hard into it sometimes.
For sure.
So my biggest problem is that we also pointed this out last week. Like last week, it was a point in the show that like this character, she's the normal one. Like she is the only one not fucking bad shit insane. Congrats, you've lost it.
There's a couple of decent ones.
Like when they do the chart,
They're VTubers. They're all insane.
When they do the chart, it's her, and then it's the artist one in the middle, like treading the line, and then everybody else is on the bad shit insane side. Like that's literally how the show shows it. So the show is saying she is supposed to be the normal one. And so
it seems like that on stream she's a lot more normal.
It did. I don't know. This felt like a character transition to me. Of like she is going to keep running these bits even on stream because she does kind of go a little harder into the character, it feels like, after the setup for it.
Yeah, no, it is fair.
I don't really have a problem with other parts of the episode. I think the quiz is fine. Like the actual review stuff is also fine. It's just that
some of the gags in the quiz don't hit.
Yeah, I just don't really care about a lot of this week's episode. Is where it is for me.
No, that's fair.
Like I don't hate it as much as last week.
Most of what she says doesn't really hit during the quiz.
No.
She's just yapping a lot of nonsense. I think it's intentional that what she's saying doesn't hit. She's like, she's trying too hard to be funny, and none of it's landing.
Yeah.
But like, it kind of sucked that none of it landed.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't even a stinger this week, right? Like for what?
We get the So we were talking about the collabs with the baby, and just somehow I ended up with a weird situation relating to that, which it very clearly shows in like the thumbnail for next episode. That's going to be the plot of next episode, is a collab in some capacity or something with her.
Oh, cool! It's the character I don't like. One of them.
It seems like it's not a collab based off the thumbnail. Who knows? Not like you're gonna watch it, probably.
You never know. I mean, I don't think. Again, I have hopes that this show's gonna start addressing things that I think are like the actual neat plot points, like hidden in this, but also like, you already know where I lied with this show even before this week.
I've been liking the show a lot. I just think this is this week's episode, which is why it dropped a lot for me too.
Yeah.
But I just think the comedy didn't really hit.
Also, Sean, you put mine as a +4, not a -4 on the power rankings.
Well, you understand.
But, yeah.
We all know it. We all know.
What do you mean? It went from number 9 up to number 5.
Definitely,
what do you mean? It obviously did that.
Yeah, you can imagine my reaction when I got Mason's power ranking and went, oh, and then looked at Michael's and went, oh, and I went, guess this is happening this week. To some capacity. We'll see.
It was really one of those things where I looked at the list of shows and I went, if something has to go at the bottom, this is absolutely the one that's going to do it this week for me.
Exactly.
Because the thing that had been my bottom originally, and it was kind of like we're giving it a bit to cook before I start like pushing it up. Fucking cook this week, and we'll get to that.
Yep.
Yeah, we know. We see the power ranking.
Yeah.
And don't worry, John. It's my show, and I don't disagree with you. But let's talk about Elusive Samurai this week.
So, Elusive Samurai this week is the continuation of trying to steal the Imperial Command. What ends up happening is the samurai boy and the shrine maiden girl started a distraction to like cause them to be decoys, while Genba and Tokiyuki are getting away. Sadamude has a rat man. That's all I can describe him as. That's very gay for him. Like, extremely gay for him. That can hear them real well. This leads to a like hide and seek fight where Genba thinks about leaving Tokiyuki. He attempts it, and Tokiyuki saves him from dying. They get away again. Genba proceeds to absolutely fucking destroy Sadamune and his boy.
Throw clowns on them.
He fucking wrecks them. It's wonderful. They then Sadamune attempts to try and take the Suwa land by force, and they basically laugh him off and go, come back with an Imperial command. Do it. See what happens.
You won't.
And then the Emperor goes, no, that's not happening. Sorry. No shifting of lands aside from the Hojo land. It's not happening.
There's too many fucking people trying to get Imperial command to try to lie about whether or not they actually support this Emperor or not.
Yep.
No more Imperial commands unless they're important. And that's not important enough.
Yes. We then get a bit where we see what Takauji is up to. And what he's up to is being the most terrifying individual that is currently alive in this show. Holy fuck. The Emperor's son, the prince, is trying to kill him with a group of people, and Takauji barely lifts a finger and murders every single one of them, sans the prince, and tells him, I'm only here for the Emperor, I promise. I'm never going to betray him. Smile. How they do the, like, him killing all these people is so cool as well. Just the visual that it does is incredible.
It's also something about the tone it sets when everybody then just walks past the prince and is like, Takayuji's here. Oh man, I hope he's okay. I hope everything's fine. Sea of blood and decapitated bodies.
You see a head get kicked multiple times across the screen. Oh god, the visual of him fucking walking, spinning, and the top of the screen just slowly shifting from the bottom.
He catches the sword in his hand, fucking nothing.
It's so cool.
I love...
And then the last 2 minutes of the episode happens.
Yes, I was gonna say, that is definitely the drawback, but I also adored the bit where, as he's getting brought into, arguably the capital, I guess, the prince is like, no, don't, please don't, no, please, you don't understand. There is a demon. He is not human. He is a fucking monster. It's like, yeah, no, I believe you. I saw his fucking eye of eyes. I believe you. I don't trust this man. I think it sucks because we tee up a really great scene of like are you sure you're gonna be able to handle somebody like him? And while we do backtrack and like he does still give the answer, I think interrupting it with the Gemba bit is a choice. And then we also end the episode in the way we end the episode. But I mean, I don't think that pulls the show down that hard for me this week. I still think this is a really cool episode.
Oh, this episode's fucking amazing, but it's that is the reason it's not number one for me. Because it ends with it especially, it leaves you on such a sour note. It's like, God, you were so fucking perfect for 20 minutes.
And I like Gimba otherwise. He's a rad character.
And you guys were in call when I had I'm in the middle of like a Gemba's doing his fight, and I go, holy shit, Gemba's like the coolest fucking character ever. And then it ended with me going, maybe I don't like Gemba.
And we get the bit where they come back, when they're riding on the horse's back, and he's like, okay, I will take a province, that is fine. And he's like, but if you don't pay me, I'm done, I'm leaving. And I will come and I will haunt you, your children, your grandchildren. And he goes, you're gonna play hide and seek with my kids? Let's go!
I fucking love Tokiyuki.
The man is bleeding out and fucking not in his right mind. He's like, you're gonna play hide and seek with my kids, a big W.
So nice.
Massive dubs.
And also, Gemba fucking hops onto the horse's head and fucking scrunches its eyes down, and that horse is having none of his shit. Yeah, I think the stuff with Sadamune and his retainer is a little out of left field. Fucking wild, tight body pressed onto him. Fucking eyes of Sadamune's eyes bulging to his fucking ears on ears on ears.
Or the ear mouth.
Yeah, the ear mouth. This show's fucking insane, and I love it.
It's just weird that I can't tell if it's supposed to be like supernatural or not, right?
It's
in some of it.
Yeah, that is interesting because like I think for some of it is just supposed to be like metaphorical to express some of the ways they are, but then you have our main villain and clearly there is something fucked with him. Like, is the implication they're trying to give. It's not just
he's
like
actually a fucking demon.
Yeah.
And I guess it's supposed to be like representation of like some important Japanese history that actually does exist, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it's played up, but like
the story's all out there, you know, by definition. But because it's all about like one of Japan's succession crises, right? Basically, where it's just like everyone's just trying to betray everyone.
But I also think some things are a little different. Like they express, like clearly from how they've talked about this is like telling a story and taking a different direction, maybe like taking a really bad a really bad historical moment and giving it like a silver lining.
Like what happened with Kongming. Right, where you're taking important historical figures and putting them
a little
in a world
different, but yeah.
Quite work.
So, from what I understand, what actually happened is Takauji won.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very important historical figure in Japanese history, from what I understand. So, like, I think this is like a alternate, like, here's what would have happened if this happened.
If this was an anime.
If you had a priest who could see into the future and trained a boy to be an elusive samurai.
oh, it's a great title. Let's stick with that. Yeah, like, I guess for me, it's just like I'm not fully invested in the show, and that's why it's so low for me still. I do like some of the things that it does, but I also just don't. I don't like the Band of Merry Men as much. As,
yeah, I could.
Like it's sold on, and like I said, I don't think some of the bits really land with the show.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like it's not as funny as it's trying to be a lot of times with the comedy, at least for me.
I think its comedy is its weakest part for sure. For
I
me,
mean, I think the comedy is the weakest part, but also it's entirely there because if you didn't have the comedy,
it wouldn't be a shonen.
Such a fucked anime.
This wouldn't be allowed to be in Shonen Jump.
I get it, but like at the same time, like if it doesn't land, it's just like it's gonna dock it because that's what the show is trying to do.
Yeah.
A lot of times. Right?
I also think a lot of its humor is
at least
very
half the time.
geared towards the actual shonen audience, which is not us, right? Like as much as we love shonen, like we're not the age demographic, so the humor it's going for is not.
Yeah, we are not 13-year-old boys
yeah.
who think pee pee poo poo jokes are funny.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time,
I think they're funny sometimes.
At the same time, a lot of times we are small brain pee pee poo poo boys who think, funny color lights is very interesting. Yay, action go burr.
Yeah. I think the shot. I honestly thought, because there's a scene where Genba's like, he's talking about Tokiyuki and he's like, "You're spoiled. You got everything handed to you. You just have undying support, unconditional." And I was waiting for Tokiyuki to look at him and go, "What the fuck are you talking about? I've lost everything.
Everyone betrayed me and killed my dad, and they all commit seppuku."
And instead we don't get that, and instead what we get is the scene where Tokiyuki's like, I would like to run away with you a lot. That seems really fun. So like as long as you like don't betray me, we'll just run away a bunch together. And you get the really cool shot of like the black and white Tokiyuki running into the light with the shadows of his retainers.
Luffy, but if he got betrayed at the very start, like he's just like, it's literally like the part in One Piece. Spoilers, by the way, for One Piece in fucking Punk Hazard, where he's like, "You wouldn't betray me, right?" "No, absolutely not." "What do you mean, no? You're just gonna take that at face value?" And he's like, "Yeah, he wouldn't do it." But I don't know, I'm just not fully sold on the show. That's why it's slower for me. But
She was awesome.
I think it's fine. I don't have the action break go burr, so like when he does cool thing, I'm like, oh, that's neat. You know.
I just like a lot
the
what we
evil
get with
villain
Gumbo.
power trope of just like he just walks through a crowd of people and just wins. Because it's like, okay, then how are we supposed to fix this problem, right? Like, how are 4 small children supposed to fix this problem of that guy?
Oh well, they're not doing it anytime soon. I'll tell you that much. By the 196 chapter count or whatever, the 163 it's at on Shonen Jump, it's gonna be a while.
It feels like the Boruto parts where it's like eventually dad has to come in and fix the problem because it's too big for the small children. Right?
Except there is no dad. So like
exactly.
you have to work your way up.
So...
His dad also was not at all capable of ever doing that. I want to say a scene I really, really like from this episode, a very small scene that I think is actually really cool. When the retainer is coming after them, and Genba goes to run, and he goes to hit him with the sword, and Tokiyuki takes a slice. His sword gets stuck in the tree, and he goes, "God damn it, why the fuck did I take a goddamn longsword to kill some kids in the forest?" And that bit's fucking phenomenal. Yes, you made a bad choice of a sword. Go get a better fucking sword from the fucking building. I love that. That's some real fucking weaponry, accurate lore. I love it. That shit... That's the equivalent of someone pulling out a pepperbox revolver in a fantasy show and Alex getting mad because it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. That's the same level for me, except this is accurate and it does the thing right. I love... That was good. I really liked that.
God, what a throwback with that one. Fucking sorceress, stabber, orphan throwback.
It's good. Don't forget that dogs are dragons, wolves are dragons, angels are dragons, and... Yeah.
Dragons are dragons. Maybe.
Sometimes maybe.
That one.
Michael?
Is it time already? Holy shit, we've been zooming.
God, I fucking love that. I love the screenshot this week. It's a minecart. It's a minecart.
It is a minecart. I just realized I grabbed a screenshot for a show and then proceeded to never send it to you. Oopsies. It was a different screenshot for this show. It was the what's your favorite type of capacitor?
It's also all the quotes in this museum are based. But let's talk about the show.
Okay, so we start off kind of like about 10-15 minutes after where we ended last episode. It's them vibing. It's that whole group of, it's not vibing. Nukamizu's being confronted about the why
we're definitely not vibing yet.
No, they're not vibing yet.
Why were you with my girlfriend in a changing room?
So then he goes, he pulls the universe and goes, why are you with
Lemon?
Lemon? And he goes, I asked you first. He goes, I asked you, fuck you. He goes,
does he ever
okay.
clarify why he's with Lemon?
Yes.
He says he's asking for relationship advice. Because he's like, Lemon's really popular. Of course she's been in a bunch of relationships. He's stupid.
Which is what our main character says too, which is great.
I also appreciate that he fucking looks at Nikumizu and he goes, "You understand, right? Of like that I've never been in a relationship. I need advice. I went to someone for advice. You get me?" And he goes, "No, I fucking don't. I don't fucking know jack shit. Why'd you go to her?"
Why are you asking me?
And then he lied like a liar.
Yeah. And then Nikumizu goes, "Oh, so actually, I was going to her for relationship advice." And he goes, "Sure, I'll buy it."
Well, first he goes, "But why would you go to my girlfriend? You're friends with a bunch of other girls in the lit club." Oh, it's someone in the lit club.
He's like, the gears start turning. He goes, "Sure, fuck it, yeah, I guess."
He's like, "Yeah, this would work.
And he goes, "Oh, it has to be Yanami, because who else could it possibly?"
Oh, it can't be Lemon.
Hey, it couldn't be Lemon. Definitely not. It also couldn't be Komari or anyone else in the lit club.
He doesn't know them well enough.
Yeah. So then this leads into him going, "Bro, I'll be your wingman. We're gonna set up a double date with a fifth wheel
Lemon.
because he's a fucking dumbass." where they go to an aquarium. Or no,
it's
museum.
The only date spot
It's in a museum and aquarium thing.
I think I don't know if it has an aquarium part to it.
No, I think it's just a museum.
I think it's a
Like
museum.
an underground museum.
Because it has like an astronomy thing. It has a bunch of weird dumb bullshit. Because there's like a strength test thing in there.
Yeah, it's a fucking like, yeah, it's silly science museum. It's the science museum.
It's like if you went to the museum that has in Michigan that has the big wiener.
Yeah, we get the bit with Yanami here, where Yanami gets mad at him because she's like, "We are in the prime of her youth. Look how pretty I am. Why would you bring 3 girls to a museum?" And then she gets clowned on. Because everybody loves this place.
Then she goes, "See, look at the other girls. See how much they're hating this." And Asuka was a fucking nerd. She goes, "Holy shit, all the nerd shit." And she goes, "Fucking wrong." Lemon's like, minecarts. Look at these minecarts. Because Lemon's adorable.
And then you have Yama go, "Why are these people my friends?"
Yeah. So then they're kind of just existing there. Yanami starts getting attention from like the kids there, because she is dressed really pretty. So like, yeah, she's gonna get attention for it. And she's like, "Hee attention, hee." Because that's the kind of person she is.
Because she is a gremlin, yes.
Because she's the main character, and she has main character syndrome as the main character.
But then this all leads to they're going to look at like a, not planetarium.
Yeah, it's like a planetarium.
Right.
It's an astronomy showcase.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And then Asagumo and I can't think of and Mitsuki gonna have this whole like goofy. They're gonna have this little competition. They're like, which of us can find more Easter eggs during it? Which I don't know what kind of Easter eggs you're finding there. It's like, ooh, look at this little constellation. I don't know.
It's like there's a museum like Easter egg. There's things you see in the museum or something like that.
I don't know. Yeah. And then Mitsuki tries to set up this whole like, okay, so I'm gonna so it's gonna be me, Asagumo, and Lemon together in one place. And then you and Nukamizu and Yanami can go somewhere else. The 2 of them could be together. He's trying to be wingman. Not realizing how and then Lemon goes, "You're a fucking dumbass.
Take your girlfriend and
go sit with your girlfriend." And he goes, "No, but no." Lemon goes, "Fuck you. I was the one I fell in love with you at one point too." And he's like, and she's like, and then from that she's like, "So go sit with your girlfriend." And then
take this, because she basically says, "Take this from someone who loved you. Spend time with your girlfriend, you idiot."
Yeah. Then Mitsuki goes, "Wait, hold up, what?" And she goes,
Everyone goes,
fuck.
uh-oh, not again.
She goes, wait, I said it. Yeah, I gotta go. And then Mitsuki has Mitsuki has the reaction you would expect someone to have, which is to try to chase after her. Then Asagumo, also with the thing, goes, I am your girlfriend. I'm sitting right in front of you. Don't run after her.
Please pay some attention to me for 2 seconds.
The Mitsuki kind of gets put into the awkward situation. Nukamisa goes, fuck. I guess it's my job now. Then does that sick ass run to chase her.
We get a really sick narration here.
Yeah, we get a really good monologue with the. He says Yakushio. He never actually calls her Lemon.
Yeah.
Yakushio's so cool. She's so popular. She deserves a main character to be chasing after her right now, not some NPC dumbass like me. He doesn't say dumbass. He's like, not some NPC like me. But he's like, she deserves a main character. I'm not the one who should be doing this because he doesn't have confidence in himself.
But
my boy needs some confidence.
But god-damn it, somebody's got to chase after that girl.
Yeah. God, it's such a sick chase, him like chasing after. It's so good. It's such a wonderful scene. This is like the first half of the episode at this point.
Yep.
So he reaches up to her and he goes, I don't really know what to say. He hits her. I don't remember what he even hits her with after this. He hits her with like the worst line to start this.
What are you gonna do for the Lit Club project?
Oh, the thing. And she goes,
idiot.
You should like try to be nice about something first. Well, I'll bite. Sure, I'll talk about it. She goes, I'm gonna write a children's book because she's a little baby. She wants to write a children's book.
Story, guys.
Yeah, and she's like, yeah, I got this great story, and then she just recounts her entire life story
in relation to romance.
Yeah, and it's like, damn.
What happens next?
Ouch.
That's a happy ending. You don't have to worry about what happens next.
Yeah, we don't need to worry about it. She's getting on the bus to leave.
And then she ghosts everybody for like 5 days.
Yeah, and then she disappears for multiple days. And it's like, she's not going to track, she's not going to Lit Club, she's not going to track. That's crazy. This is Lemon we're talking about.
This is the Run Girl.
Before we get into this, we get the scene where Nukamizu meets up with the girlfriend. And she's like, now that I know Lemon likes my guy, I don't actually feel like I want to walk away from it, but also part of me is like, wouldn't that be good for her? And Nukamizu goes, fuck no, don't you dare do that, you idiot.
Don't do that. And
he goes,
He picked you for a reason,
And he's like, let me handle this. And she goes, okay. And don't forget, if we need it, I got my GPS tracking device. He goes, God damn it, put that shit away.
But yeah, it's a really nice, like, you if you were to just give up now, neither of them would be happy with what you do here. Everyone would hate that. Everyone hates that. Everyone hated that. But yeah, so Lemon goes, it disappears for a bit, and it very much ends on like a note where you're like, it's not good that she just disappeared. That's very much a bad thing right now. We then learn because that she hadn't been going to track, the track coach or whoever, or like the track captain gets like their phone number, gets the family phone and goes, hey, she hasn't been coming to school. Where is she? And they go, and her parents go, oh, she's visiting her grandma. So then they go, let's go visit Lemon, without the setup of going, wait, how are we gonna just go like visit? We can't just go visit her
with the
and
base
just appear
grandma.
at her grandma's house. That's weird for us to know her grandma's house. So just, fuck it, we're going. They go there. This isn't like the countryside. There's like nice rivers, all that stuff.
Lost.
And they're playing at a river. Komari finds a crab. Yanami's trying to get attention. Komari finds a crab, and she's playing around with the crab. This is a wonderful little bit. And as Nukami's like taking a video of Yanami trying to do video things, Lemon just appears behind her and pushes her. Doesn't try to push her in, but like spooks her into the water.
No, she tries to push her in, and fucking Anna's an idiot,
then, like,
and so
misses.
she's starting to fall into the water, so they both trip and fall into the water.
Well, it was like she realizes Lemon's behind her and gets surprised and starts to fall.
I don't even think she does.
To, like,
I think she just fucking trips into the river.
I think Yanami's just a dingus. Once again, Komari has a crab. She found a little crab.
I love that fucking Yanami is like, take my phone, take a photo of me. Take a photo of me. Why are you so interested in a fucking crab, you idiot? I'm right here.
No, look, we got the crab.
And he's like, but it's a crab, and Komari has a crab. This is important. To which her one brain cell goes...
Be gone, thought. It is time for crab.
Her one brain cell goes, well, crabs do taste good, so I guess that's okay.
But yeah. Then we cut to like them at Lemon's house, but her
grandmother's
house.
mansion.
Yeah, it's a nice. It's in the countryside. It probably costs like $2.
As
She sounds like how she retired
randomly
from it,
getting ads for Japanese houses lately can confirm.
Yeah, we found out her grandmother used to be a professor.
If I may, just for a moment, I did get an ad like 3 days ago where it was a like 7-room house like 20 minutes from a train station in the countryside of Japan for $50,000.
We're going, right?
Yeah, I'm in.
The gang together.
We'll just start this podcast by watching stuff on
house in
syndicated
Japan.
TV.
Guys, we can be trash taste. We can just start not talking about anime ever.
That's already what we do.
Despite being an anime podcast.
So, Michael, the rest of this episode.
But yeah. But so like, and we gotta get some stuff with them. She's doing okay. Obviously, she's not doing great because that's kind of she's put in a really awkward situation. But like, she's happy everyone's there. It's
It's
good
huffing the
time.
copium, but it's good.
And she's also she seems to be like happy everyone's there. Then they go, let's have a party. Not exactly a party, but like
A sleepover.
it's like, damn, it's late. I guess you guys can sleep over. And Yukimizu goes, how can we sleep over? I wasn't. Everyone else prepared for a sleepover. God damn it, why didn't you tell me? And they go, oh, we didn't tell you. Oopsie.
Whoopsies, the one boy here amongst all these young
Eat
high
shit.
school
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah, no, it is.
Shit.
There's 4 other girls.
Yeah.
Five.
If you count the grandmother, 5.
Yeah, yeah, cause it's
I'm
the
just
3 of them
saying,
plus
she's
the
there.
president, or the vice president. But yeah, it's a great episode.
Episode rules.
There's like one scene where a character is like a little like, ooh,
You
you
haven't
didn't need to.
You haven't seen what they're
I
in
think
the
it's- I think
back,
it's when it's
but
showing.
like, that's like they're not
Yeah.
even. They're both like, Yanami's completely covered by the actual bath, and Lemon's out of frame. Nothing happens. Like,
Man, it's just God, it's such a good episode. We also get some amazing quotes like Asaguma and Mitsuki just walking around, and one of them is going, "Yo, so what's your favorite kind of capacity?"
God, sorry. There's the bit where they get to the trains. They get off the train station and get ready to get the van, and Nukumizu walks up to Yanami, and we do the diet bit again. And then he meets back up with Komaru and Koto, and they're talking about BL in coded words.
Yep,
And
that
this
one was
bit
so
is
good.
insane.
forgot-
This bit's
I forgot.
wild.
Talking
forgot
about like
the
the
left
books
and
being
right.
on top of other books.
Yeah, they're
right, or
using
whatever.
left and right instead. They're talking about ingredients and left and right instead of saying top and bottom. And then they get and then Kamaru wins the argument by going, no. You have to understand this character is a top, but he is worried about physically loving the bottom too much that it will inflict pain. And Koto goes, I understand. You've enlightened me. And the whole point is they're supposed to be
forgot about
talking in
this
code. At this point, they're absolutely not talking in fucking code.
I think
Important thing: the things they are
that
talking
one.
about right now are a packet of deer curry and like strawberry jam,
It's plum jam. Yeah.
plum jam.
Yeah, and I think when I was watching this with you guys, my exact response was, "It's plum jam is the bottom and they're power bottom." I think was what I said.
I think that is what you said.
This shit's stupid. I love it.
I love it. It's stupid good. That's what it is.
Yes.
I love
Very
the
good
characters
times.
so much.
The characters are really good. They really shine in this show especially when they interact with each other. Like you said, like the bit where it's just like, I love the bit when they're at the museum and everyone's popping off and they show everyone doing their little things and she just goes, Am I the weird one here?
No, we're all weird.
But
You're a normie.
it's good. I'm ready for one of our losing heroines to not lose, but that would defeat the purpose. But also, like, different love triangles gonna happen at some point.
Shout out to
Like, it very much feels like they're pushing for Yanami to be like the winners, at least at this point. But also,
Also Lemon's right there.
and
just trying to
also
get
him and
over her other
Komari have
stuff.
such good chemistry, just being little dinguses together.
But like we talked
Yes,
about
but there's,
last
like,
week.
There's like nothing there romantically. It feels like.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why...
But there's nothing romantically between him and.
And let's
the-
be
like,
honest,
the most
like,
we've seen
The
him
problem-
and Yanami have like
the left
something.
instead
Yeah.
of the right.
The problem is he does not have any romantic chemistry with anyone but Yanami. The other girls might have chemistry with him to different levels, but he only has chemistry right now with Yanami. which I'm sure is what the episodes are building to. This is going to get him closer to Lemon. And then we'll have another Kamari arc, I imagine.
Yeah. So we're gonna switch to the third ED, and the ED is gonna be focused on Komari.
We have a base moment in this episode where they're eating, and Kamari's like, "I'm thinking, I kind of want that sushi," and then Lemon goes, "I have sushi for you, eat it," and they get to have another little sweet, cute moment, the two of them. Yeah. My buy ship.
There.
Another one. So many.
Another one.
Another one.
Yeah, she was really good. I am enjoying.
Is Lemon flexing in her character portrait? She absolutely is. God damn it.
Much deserved with all that running.
And now it is time to talk about our last show of the night, Pseudo Harem. So we run into this show with they're doing costume outfits. Ren is wearing a sailor uniform. AG jokes about her leaving school to go to another school that has a sailor uniform, and it makes her upset. They didn't talk about their future plans and how she's going to become an actress and he'll keep doing stage prop stuff, and that way they can keep seeing each other and interacting and running these bits for each other. It's cute. We didn't have a bit of acting. We actually get to see some real acting, and Rin can't perform because AG's a tree, and she just fucking can't do this bit with him because he's a tree. And so he keeps talking as a tree, and it's pissing off the club president. He just shut his mouth and let her act. We then get the lead up to the cultural festival performance. So AG is filming Ren for an exclusive behind-the-scenes interview. He has no idea how to do this. He just fucking rambles, and then they push it to lunch, and then the camera dies, and he has to continue, and then they have to do it on the way home after he charges the battery a bit. But Ren is excited because she gets more exclusive screen time with her senpai. She's adorable. She does a little bit where she's like, "So you're gonna walk home with me then, right, to do more of the interview?" He goes, "Yeah," and she goes, "Yes." And it's adorable, and I love her. Then they stay overnight at school to work on stuff for the cultural festival, and Ren is scared to go to the bathroom, so he walks her, and then we get a mid card where it shows that she goes into the bathroom, and then he goes into the bathroom, and she gets out first, and she is mortified because he's not there, and that's a really cute mid card to give a little bit of extra stuff for that bit. At the cultural festival, she is nervous to perform. We don't get to see any of the performance, which is a choice. But we make room for the more important thing, which is that AG promises to take her on a date. At first, he's like, "If you do well, I'll take you on a date." And then he's like, that might give you too much pressure. You might not actually be able to, like, focus. So I'll just take you on a date whether you do good or not, but, like, you should still try to do good. And they go on a date. So he takes her to Kyoto. She's staring at an aquarium at first. She's like, maybe he could take me to an aquarium. And they go to see like a full ass musical at like a real musical theater in Kyoto. To which she falls asleep and then wakes up, and she's fucking fascinated by this musical, and he's like, "This was a good idea." And then they just go fuck around in Kyoto for the rest of the day, and we get a lot of cute bits. They go to a bathhouse. He falls asleep on the floor because apparently she's taken a fucking century-long bath. She comes back out. She lays on the floor next to him. He wakes up, and she's like, I want us to stay by each other's side forever." And he goes, "Sorry, what did you just say?" And she goes, "You didn't hear that. We're gonna run this back later when, like, I'm not fucking frazzled, okay?" And he goes, "Sure." And then they're really awkward together the next day at school.
There's also a bit when they're at the store where they were like, if we could do this every day if we were just married.
Yeah. And he's like, "Would you make me this food every day if we were married?" And she's like, "What?" "Yeah, probably not. That's expensive as fuck, dude. Also, what?" Brain explode. I think this episode's really cute. I like it. I don't feel like super strongly about it. Like, I definitely have other stuff that I think is really strong over this show, but I'm really excited to see where this show's gonna go next week in particular. Because we have set up the date and other things.
So, I really liked this episode, but one of the things that, like, put it as high as it was for me is a little outside of the show itself. but I saw what the title was for the next 2 episodes, and it makes me excited about the show. But also, this episode was just fucking adorable. It was so good.
These two are so cute. When they're just existing.
When they're just being, like, they're being their own characters, they're just adorable.
This episode probably has the least amount of the actual like harem element of it. Like, she does the bit like twice, I think, if even.
It's a few. It's not many, and a lot of times it like they fit the moment better than a lot of the other time, like than some of like the earlier time, like the you're about to go on stage. I think Cool-chan would be fine, and she goes no, even she's fucking shivering in her boots right now. Also, they do the little sister one like one time, or I don't know what that one's technically called. I think it's Spoiled is the nickname for it.
I think it's technically different because I think they have Spoiled, and then they have specifically made a little sister one now.
Okay. I see the issue is that they do the little sister one, then they do Spoiled like right after it, and they seem like the exact same character. So like I didn't even like connect that they were supposed to be 2 different characters.
But
yeah, that's when they're walking around.
But there's like some very I can very distinctly tell when she's doing some of them. Yeah. Also, I think they used Demure at like one point.
Yeah.
Which made me go look at what Demure means, because I always forget, because that word's like nonsense and came into like common use like a month ago randomly.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a more like cool, controlled older woman. It's generally where it gets used. Yeah, they do a lot of those bits during the walk around in Kyoto, where he's buying her like 70,000 gifts, or it's the cultural festival where he's buying her 70,000 gifts. Yeah, Kyoto, you get the bit where they're walking on the train tracks, and she fucking stumbles into him.
Which again, terrible idea. Don't walk on train tracks, kids. It's dangerous.
It's fine if they're not active.
It's illegal.
Well, don't worry about that. It's only legal if the cops catch you. And it's not illegal if it is like a hotspot, like vacation thing. Until the cops shut it down, at which point they're a buzzkill. I'm saying this because we had a cool hotspot that was like that. We had the Centralia Highway up by us, which was a big graffiti. Like, people would go and they would graffiti the highway, and there was a lot of like cool like graffiti art from people who like cared about it, and was like a really big like tourist attraction. And then they went, but what if we just covered it all in dirt without taking any kind of vote on it at all or talking to anyone ever about it, and we just up and did it.
Sick.
Yeah, real rad.
Very
cool.
But we don't condone anything illegal here on this podcast. Nothing. No. Sean, what are your thoughts on this show?
I think it's fine. I just, like I said, I think the bits I wasn't a fan of, they didn't have much of it in this episode, so it was good. It probably should be higher than Nokotan in my power rankings, but I didn't really ride over them too much. I think the show is fine. I think it does some good things. I think it's just kind of repetitive. It's kind of only downside, right? Because it feels like it does the same bits constantly. But they did progress this episode, which is good. So I thought overall, like, I like this show. It's just not nowhere near my favorite romance this season. I think there's at least like 2 or 3 shows that are just better at it. Probably actually 3.
No, I think my thing with this is I just think they're hitting the 2 of them just being adorable so well. At least like now, like they're actually like hitting that, and it's not just like pissing me off like the bits again. I think I bring this up every fucking time I mention the show. How annoyed I was at the bits in episodes 1 to 3, and how they're like, it just these 2 are just so good when they're allowed to just exist.
Yeah, it's also mellowed like the it almost feels like the
other big issue I have with it is that there's just really no other characters in the show at all.
That's fair, but
like there really I think just these 2.
No, what do you mean? You have like 7 characters. You have Rin, you have Cool-chan, you have Spoiled
Listen,
Chan,
the voices in your head aren't different characters, Michael. We still only have 4 people on this podcast.
Idea. They're supposed to be different. That's like the whole bit, I think.
It does
really feel... the president staring at them, and it's really funny. It does feel the president just sit there and get pissed off.
It kind of feels like the manga probably needed a way to like hook and like get going, and so the hook was the different character tropes on one character, and then as the manga kept going, it went, okay, but what if we just wrote a regular romance that I want to write, with these two characters, because that is kind of what it feels like we're moving towards, where it's like this is now a bit we run every once in a while. It's not the entirety of 3 whole episodes constantly.
I also liked how the musical they see is a poster we see on her wall like 2 scenes before that. Is nice. As a nice little thing.
Those shots are also really pretty, like artistically, what they do for that musical. I think it is odd we don't get to see her act, like full act. But I also feel like that's because we're probably saving the time for that for like a bigger moment.
We also see her act every episode. Every time she becomes a different character.
True.
Mm-hmm. Sean, I think I'm mad at you, but not for the reason why I think, or why you would think.
I'm mad at Sean.
I'm mad because I had a really good name if what I think is going to happen happens, and I'm sad that I won't get to use it.
Well, I don't know what to tell you.
I don't either, Mason, because that was a very nondescript sentence you just said.
Well, I think that was
Sean,
intentional.
I'm mad at you for reasons I can't express, but just know that I am upset.
I'm grrr. Did I vote that way? Yeah, let's go with that. Sure.
Dark type. Nice dark type.
It didn't happen. And I think I'm okay with it.
Same. Okay.
So let's
cool,
we got the votes in. Good one, Michael. I appreciate it. So we have full saves on Senpai, Alya, Wistoria, Samurai, and Makeine. We have 1 slay on Pseudo, Harem, and Shoshimin. We have 2 slays on Nokotan and 3 on VTuber. I want you to know that I thought we were gonna get a wheel this week. Which, like, I would have been comfortable with that between it and between Nokotan and VTuber. But I was so confident that all 3 of you were I was so confident that the 3 of us were going to vote VTuber, and also the 3 of you were going to vote Nokotan, which is why I abstained from voting Nokotan. Because I do not care between the 2 which one of them goes, so it was better for me to not vote Nokotan.
I thought you had voted Nokotan, so...
Oh, to try to get a wheel? I honestly thought Michael was going to shoot Nokotan this week as well. But I think... Look, this is an interesting one, because, like, I won't say a lot about VTuber here, because I've said my piece a lot about it. You know, do you guys think you're going to watch at least next week's episode of it and see where it goes?
I might keep watching it, because the dub's easy to watch.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing, is that dubs are a lot easier for me to watch, because I can put them on and not fully pay attention to them. Also, the show I brain off half the time anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it because I think 80% of the time that show's fucking hilarious.
I think the last bunch of episodes were really good. I just didn't like this one. And at this point, we're really hitting a point in the season where every episode's
My argument for that is there's a lot
things.
of bad episodes and shows that get overwritten early on because they last this long.
That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, that is
happens
definitely...
a lot, where it's like
That's
one
what's
show
happening
is
with
like
Pseudo Harem right now.
mediocre episode, and then it just gets voted off immediately, even though the rest of the show has been good.
Yeah, I think...
Yeah, look at what almost happened to Yatagarasu last season.
Yeah, I like it's an odd trade-off for the podcast, because I think on one hand, like, it happens.
was really slow to build up to begin with too. Though.
Yeah,
like that was also
it's an odd trade-off, because I think we have some shows where like it feels like they have really good or at least solid openings, and then they have a bad middle and they get voted off in the middle pack, and that maybe doesn't feel right. But I think doing that allows for shows that have mediocre or middling beginnings and really pick up their paces towards the middle to have a shot later on. It's an odd trade-off, right?
I just think it happens a lot with my shows, and it's annoying.
Okay,
but
well,
it's okay.
I can't help you. I can't help you in your feelings, okay?
I
can't protect your feelings.
can't help that you guys like action above all else most of the time. That's
I don't
okay.
think... I don't...
I put Pseudo Harem at 4 and Alya at 3.
I understand that this season is different, but a lot of times that is what happens too.
Yeah, I think this is an odd week, for sure. I don't have a lot else to say about this, because I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I'm not happy that the show that is my least favorite is gone off the week, because I haven't enjoyed it largely at all. You know, I view this as I'm really hoping that this is saving us from dodging like 2 more episodes that I think are equally unfunny and also missed the mark. And it is maybe unfortunate if what this means is we miss out on 2 really good episodes of it. I really do personally think that, like, I don't think on like a, because I think this is tricky. I don't think on like a
it's
like.
Good, Sean. I don't need a whole explanation.
Okay.
I get it.
My larger point is I don't think this hits the same peak as some of the other stuff we have on like production, story, characters, like a lot of that to me. Like even if I did find myself laughing at bits of this show. But either way, that closes us out for this week. And we will see you guys next time.